The weather is just perfect in Atlanta, the Georgia state capital, on this late October evening. The temperature is in the low 60s. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium filling up for the first game of the World Series. The World Series to be played here for the third time in the last 5 seasons. And it's the Cleveland Indians, the champions of the American League, against the National League champion Atlanta Braves. And welcome to Atlanta, everyone. I'm Al Michaels, and we think this is a very attractive matchup. The Cleveland Indians, despite playing only 144 games in this truncated season, won 100 of them, and they're in the World Series for the first time since 1954. It's a team with a lot of power, a lot of speed, and a .291 collective batting average. No team has hit .291 or better since 1950. A team led by the great Albert Bell, their left fielder, who, despite playing in 143 games this season, still hit 50 home runs, 17 of them coming during the month of September. A very good pitching staff as well, but it's overlooked because of their great power and batting ability. The Atlanta Braves, meanwhile, a team that's in the World Series for the third time in the last 5 seasons, is a team keynoted by great pitching. Probably the best starting rotation we have seen in years, and a very good closer this year. In addition, a fellow by the name of Mark Wohlers, who could play a very key part in this World Series. But as far as pitching is concerned, we start with the starters, and let's talk to Tim McCarver first and talk about maybe the best pitcher of his time in the minds of many. Greg Maddux is on the mound tonight.
And a lot of people who talk about great starting pitchers talk about velocities, guys who can really bust the ball, throw around 95. But Greg Maddux is a master at controlling both sides of the plate. Hitters talk about Maddux painting X's on both sides. For instance, against left-handed batters, he can throw the breaking ball on the outside. They give up on it. When he needs the double play ball, he throws the sinker low and away. His favorite pitch with 2 strikes is also a pitch left-handers give up on because the ball comes back. And he can also cut the fastball in on the hands when he wants to jam somebody. You combine that with the ability to throw hitters off stride by throwing that changeup, and you've got a lethal combination.
If he were on the Pro Bowlers Tour, he'd be 50-50 to make a 7-10 split, wouldn't he?
A lot of strikes,
boy,
too.
I'm telling you, he is a master craftsman, and so is his opposite number tonight, Jim Palmer, the resurrected Orel Hershiser.
He certainly is, and so remarkably similar to Greg Maddux. Throws a little bit harder, has the overhand curveball, but they both stay out of the middle of the plate and change speeds. But what a remarkable story, Hershiser. 1988, the best pitcher in baseball, 23-8, won a Cy Young Award, most valuable player in the World Series. 2 years later, he is shop worn. He's got a shoulder problem. Here in 1995, leaves the Dodgers, comes to the Indians, wins 16 games. And if you're Mike Hargrove, manager of the Indians, who better to send out to pitch the first game of the World Series? 7-0 in postseason with an ERA of under 1.5 runs a game. An amazing performance.
Great matchup tonight. As far as the lineups are concerned, each lineup features a catalyst at the very top. For more on that, let's join Leslie Visser.
I'm with 2 leading men, the 2 leadoff hitters, Kenny Lofton and Marquise Grissom. First to you, Kenny. It is a pitcher's nightmare to have you on base. What do you think that you have to do against Greg Maddux? You know, the only flaw with him is that he is susceptible to the stolen base.
Well, first of all, I have to get on base to be able to do that. And once I get on base, I have to do my job as to get to second base and then the third. And, who knows what's going to happen after that.
What do you think, though? Is he somebody that you feel in the scouting reports that you might have an advantage?
Yeah, I've talked to a couple other guys, and they said I have an advantage to steal. But a lot of guys said I have to get on first.
What about you against Seattle? You scored from second on a pass ball. It was thrilling and highly unusual. What is your attitude on the base?
My attitude is I'm going to try to take the next base as much as I can. No matter who's on the mound, what catches behind the plate, it doesn't matter. And that's the attitude I have.
Well, it's been pretty impressive so far. Marquise, to you, you're one of 6 Braves who weren't here in 91 and 92. How has this team improved? Why can you win the World Series this time?
I think we're just one. We go out and we play good, hard, fundamental baseball, and we get good pitching and play good defense. And we have a chance, I think, the whole season we went out and we played well, and the pitchers gave our bats a chance to come around and score a big run in the later innings.
What will you be looking for against Orel Hershiser? Not many guys steal on him.
Well, I'm going to just try to get on base, like Kenny said, try to get on base first, and then we'll worry about trying to steal second and get to the next base after that.
Both these guys going to try to get on base and then ignite the offense. Al?
Thank you, Leslie. In just a moment, we'll return to Atlanta will meet the players. Game 1 of the World Series coming up.
My dandruff and itch are awful. I'll try anything. Denorex tingles. Head and Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
That's why I started using Denorex. No flakes, no itch.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
You're my agent. You have to do something about this. My face is on the cup with a duck. Well, I'm allergic to ducks. Well, what about Bugs Bunny? He's cool. What? Emmitt Smith has bugs? He's just a running back.
Now at McDonald's, get a free Looney Plays to-go cup when you supersize any extra value meal. The NFL's Emmitt Smith with Bugs, Barry Sanders with Taz, Bledsoe with Wiley, and Marino with Daffy on new to-go cups.
How'd I get on a McDonald's cup with Marino? Some agent. I'm allergic to dolphins.
Have you had your break today?
We buy land in order to make sure it is protected. And it seemed to us that the largest environmental organization and the largest automobile company ought to get together. General Motors has provided financial assistance to the Nature Conservancy. It's given us trucks. It comes from a very deep place, a very deep feeling for nature, for the natural world, and for doing something for the future generations.
Goodyear retailers have lowered prices on America's #1 brand.
Lower! Lower!
Everyday lows start at $19.99 and save 25% on other famous Goodyear tires. How low are the prices? Drop in and find out.
This 1995 World Series game is brought to you by the makers of Denorex and Goodyear, #1 in tires.
The Cleveland Indians and the Atlanta Braves in Game 1. Games 1 and 2 played here. Off day Monday, 3, 4, and 5 at Jacobs Field. 5 if necessary. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then if games 6 and or 7 are necessary next weekend. Saturday for Game 6, Sunday for Game 7 here in Atlanta. Now for the introduction of the teams, here's the PA announcer, Marshall Mann.
For the Cleveland Indians, head trainer Jim Warfield. Assistant trainer Paul Spicuzza. Strength and conditioning coach Fernando Montez. Equipment manager Jeff Sipos. Clubhouse manager Stan Hunter. Clubhouse manager Cy Bynack. Number 1, Coach Dave Nelson. Number 26, Coach Buddy Bell. Number 29, Coach Jeff Newman. Number 40, Coach Bud Black. Number 42, Coach Charlie Manuel. And in the bullpen, number 8, Coach Luis Isaac. Number 28, Coach Mark Wiley. Number 44, Coach Dan Williams. And now the players. Number 10, Alvaro Espinoza. Number 11, Paul Sorrento. Number 12, Jesse Levis. Number 17, Tony Pena. Number 20, Ruben Amaro. Number 31, Dave Winfield. Number 32, Dennis Martinez. Number 35, Wayne Kirby. Number 36, Herbert Perry. Number 37, Chad Ojay. Number 38, Eric Plunk. Number 41, Charles Nagy. Number 44, Ken Hill. Number 45, Paul Ossenmacher. Number 49, Jose Mesa. Number 50, Julian Tavares. Number 54, Mark Clark. Number 56, Alan Embry. Number 62, Jim Poole. Ladies and gentlemen, the manager of the Cleveland Indians, number 21, Mike Hargrove. And now, here is the starting lineup for the Indians. Leading off in center field, number 7, Kenny Lofton. Batting second at shortstop, number 13, Omar Vizquel. Batting third at second base, number 9, Carlos Baerga. Batting fourth in left field, number 8, Albert Bell. Batting fifth at first base, number 33, Eddie Murray. Batting sixth at third base, number 25, Jim Thome. Batting seventh in right field, number 24, Manny Ramirez. Batting eighth and catching, number 15, Sandy Alomar. Batting ninth, the starting pitcher, number 55, Orel Hershiser. And now, let's stand up and welcome your 1995 National League champion Atlanta For the Braves, head trainer Dave Pursley. Assistant trainer Jeff Porter. Director of Team Travel and Equipment Manager Bill Acree. Assistant Equipment Manager Casey Stevenson. Number 22, Coach Jimmy Williams. Number 28, Coach Clarence Jones. Number 37, Coach Jim Beecham. Number 39, Coach Pat Corrales. Number 59, Strength and Conditioning Coach Frank Fultz. And in the bullpen, number 42, Coach Ned Yost. Number 54, Coach Leo Mazzoni. And now the players. Number 4, Jeff Blauser. Number 7, Dwight Smith. Number 8, Javier Lopez. Number 12, Eduardo Perez. Number 16, Mike Mordecai. Number 17, Luis Polonia. Number 24, Mike Devereaux. Number 26, Alejandro Pena. Number 29, John Smoltz. Number 30, Ed Giovanola. Number 33, Steve Avery. Number 38, Greg McMichael. Number 43, Mark Wohlers. Number 47, Tom Glavine. Number 50, Kent Merker. Number 51, Pedro Borbon. Number 52, Brad Klontz. Ladies and gentlemen, the manager of the Atlanta Braves, number 6, Bobby Cox. And now, here's the starting lineup for the Braves. Leading off in center field, number 9, Marquise Grissom. Batting second at second base, number 20, Mark Lemke. Batting third at third base, number 10, Chipper Jones. Batting fourth at first base, number 27, Fred McGriff. Batting fifth in right field, number 23, David Justice. Batting sixth in left field, number 10, Ryan Klesko. Batting seventh in the bullpen, catcher, number 11, Charlie O'Brien. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 2, Rafael Belliard. Batting ninth and warming up in the bullpen, the starting pitcher, number 31, Greg Maddux. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors which are being presented tonight by the Naval Air Station Atlanta Color Guard. Now, to honor America, please remain standing for the presentation of our national anthem, which will be performed tonight by Atlantic recording artist and lead vocalist of Hootie and the Blowfish. Please welcome Mr. Darius Rucker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We'll return with coverage of the 1995 World Series from Atlanta after this from our ABC stations.
Sunday. No need to crowd. There are plenty of new videos for everyone. So wash up, grab a bite, but don't miss a full hour of America's funniest home videos. Then, Lois and Clark investigate a love clinic.
Don't think it's a good idea.
Not at this time, Chief. Disguised as a happy couple.
Please get off of me.
But will the new age guru save their relationship?
You got a tiger by the tail there, boy.
Tell me about it. It's an all-new Lois and Clark after a full hour of America's funniest home videos. Sunday, here on ABC.
Rolling with a Ram Tough Magnum motor, get a new Dodge Ram or a new Dakota.
California's truck stop.
A new Dodge.
California's truck stop.
You can out-drive, out-hustle, out-tough, out-muscle, out-tow, out-run, out-work, and out-fun. Show them what you got.
Introducing California's Truck Stop. Now with a special allocation of the hottest trucks on the road today, Dodge Ram and Dodge Ram Club Cab. Plus get air at no extra charge.
California's Truck Stop.
The new Dodge.
If a better body came in a can, or from a box, or on a video, you'd already have one. So stop kidding yourself and join the club that lets you start getting in shape for $5. Valley Total Fitness. It's easy, because no other health club gives you more for your money. State-of-the-art equipment, classes, all for $5. It's the best health club value in America. So skip the drinks. Start getting the body you want right now for $5. Call Valley Total Fitness at 1-800-WORKOUT. But hurry, this offer ends soon.
At Best Buy's prices, Sony's superior quality products have always been popular. Our no-hassle grab-it-and-go policy makes buying any Sony product a breeze. And now, getting your hands on Sony Performance is even easier. Because for a limited time, Best Buy is offering no payments and no interest till $19.97 on Sony products. So stop by. Oh, and if you do need a hand, we'll be glad to help.
Can fallen priests be forgiven? Next, Oprah.
For almost a century now, the splendor of autumn has provided the World Series its backdrop. The games themselves have been defined by the accomplishments of men played out before millions of passionate followers. And in return, the World Series has defined the men whose October heroics will be with us forever.
I don't believe it ever happened. Yogi jumped on me, and I didn't know what was going on. I sort of blanked out because I didn't know it was a perfect game until after the game was over. They told me in the clubhouse. I never knew what a perfect game was.
With a score tied 9-9 in the ninth, he is set to go to Bill Mazeroski. There's the drive. It's hit deep into left field. She's going way, way back. And you can kiss it goodbye.
As I was running towards home, all I could think about is we beat him, and I saw the umpire give it the home run sign, and I sort of went crazy. And probably one of the few times I ever showed my emotions in a baseball game.
Reggie Jackson becomes the second man in World Series history to hit 3 home runs in a game.
The crowd was cheering Reggie. I'd already hit 2, boom. The luck that I have of being called Mr. October is something that I'll cherish the rest of my life.
As a Dodger, Orel Hershiser was 1988's Mr. October, and now 7 years later he takes the mound for the first World Series game played by the Cleveland Indians in 41 years. His counterpart will be Greg Maddux, the best pitcher of this decade. Can his work for the Atlanta Braves lead to a first world title for the South? The Indians, the Braves. How will this October be defined? The weather could not be more perfect. Temperature in the low 60s. Clear skies, just a perfect setting. Atlanta, host city for the 1996 Olympics, and host city tonight for Game 1 of the World Series, the Cleveland Indians against the Atlanta Braves. I'm Al Michaels, and this is the way it should be. The two best teams in baseball meeting in the World Series. The Cleveland Indians ending 4 decades of frustration and futility by appearing in their first World Series since 1954. And the Atlanta Braves still seeking that elusive first World Championship since moving to the South, appearing now for the 3rd time in 5 years in the World Series. But can this team get over the top in 1995? And Tim McCarver, they lost to Minnesota in 7 and 91. They lost to Toronto in 6 and 92. How can they get over the top?
Well, it's really a different Atlanta ball club. As a matter of fact, the only 2 regulars that they have returning from those 2 World Series, Mark Lemke and David Justice. But the Braves have done a remarkable job at developing young players, good young players like Ryan Klesko, Chipper Jones and Javi Lopez. And then they made trades for Marquise Grissom and Fred McGriff. But the big reason the Braves are a much more threatening team, or lethal team, this time around is the addition of Mark Wohlers and a very confident stopper in the bullpen.
One other constant is Bobby Cox, who has been the manager here for several seasons. He's had 2 different stints. As I turn now to Jim Palmer, let's talk about one of the key strategic moves in this series involving the designated hitter, the DH in effect in Cleveland, but not here in the National League Park in games 1, 2, 6, and 7. So what does Mike Hargrove do with Eddie Murray?
He puts him in there because he's about offense. You talked about the great offense Cleveland has. 840 runs, and he led the American League with home runs. But the bottom line is Eddie with 3,000 hits this year. And if he hits another one, 21 home runs, he will be, along with Willie Mays and Hank Aaron, the only major leaguers with 3,000 hits and 500 lifetime home runs. So you got to get him in the lineup.
The Cleveland Indians against the Atlanta Braves. Settle back and relax and enjoy Game 1 of the World Series. And back we come after this ABC News Brief and a word from our ABC stations.
And ABC News Brief. Now from New York, Thalia Assurance.
Good evening. Inmates in 70 federal prisons were confined to their cells today after riots at facilities in 4 states over the past 2 days. Dozens of guards and prisoners were injured in the violence. And in New York City, security is tight at the United Nations as more than 150 world leaders begin gathering for ceremonies tomorrow, marking the UN's 50th anniversary. More news after Game 1 of the World Series.
Can't beat it out here. The sun, the sand.
And we got trucks. If you can keep the beach safe, you're a good lifeguard.
Physical training is certainly important.
Shoot, I'm a great swimmer.
But you need to have good equipment as well.
Yeah, Ford Rangers.
One of the best pieces of equipment we have.
I like working with the most handsome men in the world.
I really love the Ford Ranger.
They look good. They make us look good.
But right now, I got to watch the water.
These Ford Rangers come in, they get me there quicker than anything else.
They're really cool.
Think we're out of our mind to keep selling Denny's Grand Slam for just $1.99 every day? Well, now we're 5 times crazier. We're adding 5 new breakfasts for even less.
Out of our mind, 5 more times. 5 for under $1.99.
5 great breakfast choices under $1.99 every day.
So many breakfasts, so little time.
Out of our mind, 5 more times. 5 for under $1.99.
With so many breakfasts under $1.99, Denny's out-breakfasts everyone.
More great values than any one person can handle.
Looking for maximum minivan value? You and your family just found it. The California Value Price Safari by GMC Truck. An 8-passenger van with automatic transmission, front and rear air conditioning, driver's side facial airbag, AM/FM stereo cassette, ABS brakes, aluminum wheels, and a 4.3-liter V6. All for an MSRP of just $19,888. See your Southern California GMC Truck dealer now.
Where you ride with the strength of experience.
Phantom of the Mall, tonight at 9 on 7.
Skyline of the Georgia State Capitol, and who better to throw out the ceremonial first pitch of the World Series than Cal Ripken, who provided the signature moment for the 1995 season. September 6th at Camden Yards in Baltimore, breaking Lou Gehrig's mark. 2,131 straight games that night for Cal Ripken. Greg Maddux has started 3 games this postseason and won 2. During the regular year, 19-2, and clearly, even though it's not been announced, he will be the Cy Young Award winner in the National League for a 4th consecutive season. And now tonight's Budweiser Cleveland Indians starting lineup. Kenny Lofton to lead off in center. Omar Vizquel at short. Carlos Baerga at second. Albert Bell in the cleanup spot in left. Eddie Murray at first base. Jim Thome at third base. Manny Ramirez in right field hitting 7th. Sandy Alomar does the catching. And Orel Hershiser, a Dodger all those years, completing his first year as an Indian, gets the start. Defensively, Klesko, Grissom, and Justice in the outfield. Jones, Belliard, Lemke, and McGriff in the infield. Charlie O'Brien back of the plate. Maddux on the mound. And we can tell you that not only will Jeff Blauser not play tonight because of a thigh bruise and a tender ankle, he is off the roster for the World Series. The Braves had to make that decision earlier tonight, and Blauser will not be able to play in the World Series. So Belliard will become a key figure. And on the subject of key figures, Kenny Lofton, who was clearly the central figure along with Dennis Martinez in the clinching game at Seattle for Cleveland the other night, drove in the first run of the game against Randy Johnson and then broke the spirit of the Mariners, scoring from second base on a pass ball to make it 3-0 and put Seattle away. So here we go. Game 1 of the World Series is underway, and the first pitch misses inside, ball 1. Lofton, Vizquel, and Baerga for the Indians. Hit down to short, and Belliard drops it, picks it up, and has no play. Belliard, normally a very good glove man, and he would very often come in to spell Blauser defensively, gets the start in place of the injured Blauser and begins the World Series with an error.
Yeah, you very rarely will see Rafael Belliard handcuffed by a ball, even though it's hit very hard. In the last 3 years, he's averaged 1 error per year. That's 212 games. There's error number 4.
And often it's not only that you make an error, but when you make an error allowing one of the fastest guys in the majors to get on base, that could be the beginning of a big inning.
Lofton this season with 54 stolen bases. Takes a big lead, doesn't go, and Vizquel takes a strike. Omar, the only Indian in the starting lineup apart from the pitcher to not hit 300. Great glove, and when you have his glove and you hit 266, you're a very key figure.
That you are. 10 sacrifice flies and just, peerless at shortstop. 2 gold gloves.
They pitch out, nothing happening. The Braves have to guard against a bunt with McGriff and Jones each shortened up at first and third. Vizquel, a switch hitter.
Well, the dilemma for Greg Maddux is that the guy at first, Lofton, stole 54. Have a left-handed hitter that can pull the ball into the hole. And the only thing, in my mind, that he does not do well is hold runners on.
You would think that Maddux would have a better move to first base. He gets rid of the ball quickly to home plate. But 32 runners tried to steal. 26 were successful this year.
In the National League Championship Series, the Braves were able to shut down the Reds' running game as Lofton goes, and it's fouled away. And that was one of the keys to their sweep. And it might be one of the keys to this World Series as well. Stolen bases this season. Lofton, a 4th straight stolen base title. Goodwin and Nixon each had 50. Knobloch and Coleman completed the top 5. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, I think Greg Maddux is the type of guy that's not going to let a guy like Lofton, regardless of how he got on, bother him early in the game. He would rather give up 1 run or a stolen base at this point than have a big inning. He knows he's right into the heart of a very powerful lineup.
He goes. The pitch is strike 3, and the throw is not in time. So Vizquel gone on strikes, but Lofton picks up a stolen base, and the Indians have a runner at second with 1 out.
With 2 strikes on the batter, the catcher has to stay back to get the strike. Just a tad later, and with Lofton and his speed, no chance for Charlie O'Brien. But they did get half of it. They got the out for Vizquel, but not Lofton. O'Brien had no chance on that play.
Lofton reaching on an error, stealing second, 1 gone, and now Carlos Baerga All season long, the B&B boys, 3 and 4. Baerga hit .314 with 15 homers, and on deck Bell, who hit .317 with 50 home runs. And Maddux bluffs Lofton back to second. When you look at the Indian lineup tonight, the next 6 hitters during the regular year hit .314, .317, .323, .314, .308, and .300.
Al, I think the reason that Maddux stepped off, Lemke was playing straight away at second base. Now he's holding Lofton on, or a little closer at second.
And he ducks in, and Bruce Fleming makes the call at second as he gets back.
This is really a tough play for a second baseman because he has to get back to his position in time. Baerga, a terrific hitter who rarely strikes out. Interesting matchup right here, not only at second base, but at the plate, too.
Now, with Baerga with 389 RBIs over the last 4 years, that's 100 more than any other second baseman.
Standing well up in the box, and the pitch away, ball 1-0.
And he will hit the ball anywhere. We saw that in the All-Star game where he lashed a ball to right field. I mean, he'll go the other way. He'll hit for power. If you get behind him, he becomes a much better power hitter.
Open stance, well up in the box. Lofton goes. The pitch is low. The throw is not in time. Jones put the glove down. The throw is right there, but Kenny Lofton steals third. So Lofton, who set the tone clearly the other night at the Kingdome, is setting the tone in Game 1 of the World Series in the first inning.
You could not have made a finer throw than Charlie O'Brien. Right there. Short hop, and the tag was on the chin. The right hand was in there. Good call by third base umpire John Hirschbeck. Watch the backhand.
Perfect call. Lofton now at third. The count 2 balls and no strikes, and with the exception of Jones at third, the infield is back, and the pitch is a strike on the inner part of the plate. 2-1.
Well, there's that cut fastball you talked about, Timmy. And, you know, Greg Maddux, as you mentioned early, not a lot of velocity, but enough to strike you out because he doesn't throw too many pitches in the middle of the plate.
Wrong guy up there to strike out, however. In 600 at bats, Baerga struck out 31 times.
And he hits a soft grounder to short. It will score a run. Belliard takes care of Baerga, but the legs of Lofton create the first run of the World Series. The Indians beat you in a lot of ways. You think about their hitting prowess, their tremendous power, their underrated pitching, and then there's Kenny Lofton. Lofton playing in the World Series after playing in basketball's Final Four as a point guard for Arizona in 1988. Now Albert Bell with 2 out on the bases empty takes a strike. 0-1. Bell 17 home runs in September. He also hit 14 home runs in August, and that 2-month total of 31, most in the history of baseball over that period. In postseason, he has homered twice. Mike Hargrove, who has guided this team to the top and through the minefield of the playoffs so far. 2-1. In the first inning, Tom Glavine of the Braves allowing 34% of his total in that inning. Steve Avery 26%, Greg Maddux 26%. And that's grounded to short. It's a busy inning for Belliard, who gets 2 assists but an error to go with them. And because of that error and Lofton's legs, it's 1-0.
Let me guess. One side of you craves easy chair comfort, while the other side itches for performance, right? Well, meet Buick Regal, with its famous 3800 V6 engine and Grand Touring suspension. Add to that an all-new interior with body-sensitive seats. And finally, there's a car for the two of you. Buick Regal.
This is about how you go to sleep one day, running your business the same way you always have, and wake up the next morning with things like email, voicemail, PCs, pagers, a new communications network for free. It's not a fairy tale, a myth, or a parable. This is about how things can really happen. This is about opening your eyes instead of closing them, and making a call instead of a wish. Network MCI, that's how.
Monday, a sexy hacker invades the net.
Why would she risk it? She's blackmailing me.
And leads McBride on an online chase into cyberspace. An all-new Marshall Monday on ABC.
Cleveland Indians leading 1-0 without a hit. An unearned run in the top of the first. And Orel Hershiser, who had the season of seasons in 1988, 7 years later, starts Game 1 of the World Series in an Indian uniform. And here's tonight's Budweiser Atlanta Braves starting lineup. Marquise Grissom leads off in center. Mark Lemke at second. Then Chipper Jones, the rookie. Fred McGriff at first base. David Justice in right field. Ryan Klesko bats sixth. In left, Charlie O'Brien is the catcher. Rafael Belliard, the shortstop, hitting eighth. Greg Maddux on the mound. Defensively for the Indians, the outfield of Bell in left. Lofton chasing down everything in center. And Ramirez in right. Tomey, Vizquel, Baerga, and Murray in the infield. Alomar back of the plate. Hershiser on the mound. Here's Marquise Grissom. Big postseason for Grissom. 16 hits in 40 at-bats after hitting .258 during the regular year. Grissom, Lemke, and Jones. And the first pitch misses for a ball. 1-0.
Well, what he brings to the Braves is the same thing Lofton. Great center fielder. If he gets on, he can steal with 29.
And he loops that one into right field. Base hit. So each team gets the leadoff man aboard. Grissom, like Lofton, great speed. He stole 29 bases during the regular season. Game 1 of the 1995 World Series is being brought to you by Buick and your local dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. Gillette, Sensor XL, and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. And Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Mark Lemke, the solid second baseman, takes outside, ball one. So the Braves with the same situation the Indians had presented to them in the top of the first.
The difference is Mark Lemke likes to hit and run. He hits most of his balls on the ground. Good running situation here.
Strike.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tim, because we talked about Maddux. They attempted to steal during the season 32 times. Against Hershiser, 9, only successful 5. So you don't run. He's very quick to the plate. You may want to put a runner in motion, and you have a guy perfectly situated to do that at the plate.
Chopper to the right side. They'll get one at first as Baerga throws Lemke out, and Grissom goes down to second. So Marquise is there with one away, and the rookie Chipper Jones comes up. Big hand for a kid already a tremendous crowd favorite. With the can't miss tag, he was the #1 pick in the 1990 draft. Would have been a starter last season, but suffered a knee injury in the spring and missed the entire year. And here he is, solidified in the #3 spot in the order of the National League champions. And he hits a chopper foul outside first, 0-1.
That might be one of the few strikes Chipper Jones sees in this at bat with first base open. Orel Hershiser, a master at throwing the ball just out of the strike zone. A young hitter against a very savvy pitcher.
Well, you're right. I mean, you got to pick your spot. We talked about staying away from the big inning, but if you are Orel Hershiser and you lead the, all of baseball with throwing double plays as he does, you may be a little bit more willing to gamble here. Now, the league average, when you talk about both American and National League, is 1 out of every 10 opportunities you load up, get a double play situation. Hershiser's about 1 out of every 4.3, and that's amazingly low.
Jones, switch hitter. He hit .259 from this side of the plate and takes outside. 2-1.
Well, I tell you, he can crush the ball from this side at 23 home runs, 20 batting left-handed. Doesn't hit as high for an average, but he will go anywhere. Right field, left field, anywhere.
Three straight fastballs. You're probably going to get the breaking ball right here.
And he does, and he fouls it at the plate. 2-2.
Remember that first strike right down the pipe? He fouled it off, and that is the only strike he's seen in this at bat.
Yeah, I think even at this young age, his first year at the major league level, he's got the respect of the opposition. And if you start throwing him fastballs behind in the count, 2-1, 3-1, and so forth, he is going to go long distance.
Now, this is a situation, however, that Hershiser will throw the fastball, the tailing fastball, in the inside corner. If he misses, he'll miss inside.
Clarence Jones, the hitting instructor. Bobby Cox. Chipper Jones, given first name Larry. And he hits the 2-2 pitch on a line, and it's caught by Vizquel, who starts a 6-4 double play. The Great Omar. We can call him the Great Omar. If you've watched any of postseason, you know what I'm talking about. 1-0 Cleveland.
When was the last time you played in the rain? Let your hair go wild. Flexed your muscles to the world. Stayed up past your bedtime. When was the last time you really had fun in a car? Riviera by Buick. Go ahead. Express yourself.
There are no prizes for making someone smile. No tributes for unlocking life's little mysteries. But to the men who give their best every day, we give our best. Gillette Sensor XL. Spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face, and soft, flexible microfins that set up your beard, and Gillette Series Aftershave Conditioner to moisturize your skin. Sensor XL for the closest, most comfortable shave ever. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Over the last 150 years, all kinds of companies that said they'd be there when you needed them didn't stand up to their promises. That's life. Our policy of thoughtful, prudent investing has kept us, well, a pillar of strength for the last 150 years. That's New York Life, the company you keep.
Buffalo has shuffled off into the thick of the division race. New England needs a win to stay in the chase. They meet on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Chipper Jones lining into a double play to end the bottom of the first. It's 1-0 Cleveland.
I think Orel Hershiser not making the pitch he wants to. A ball up in the strike zone. Jones, as we said, great power. And then you have the Gold Glover. Is it better to be sometimes lucky or good? Hershiser, most of the time, both.
Jim, you can call him a Gold Glover or a gold hand.
Yeah.
I mean, after bare-handing those balls at the Kingdome in Seattle, one of the more remarkable things I had ever seen. I mean, he bare hands routine plays. I mean, it's not that easy to even use the glove.
Eddie Murray getting a chuckle out of, I guess, the Eddie chant. He'll be followed by Tomei and Ramirez in the second inning, and the pitch in for a strike.
Eddie also getting a chuckle with Charlie O'Brien. They were teammates with the New York Mets 2 years ago. O'Brien telling me yesterday that Murray used to sit in on the meetings when Maddux was pitching and he told all the hitters, be careful of the pitch inside. I didn't have a chance to complete the sentence, and Maddux came inside on him.
Eddie playing in the National League from 89 through 93, 3 years with the Dodgers. He was Hershiser's teammate, then 2 with the Mets, so he's very familiar with Maddux. And he squibs it out in front of the plate. O'Brien collects it and throws him out.
Well, yeah, right there you got a perfect illustration of what Tim McCarver talked about in the opening, which is that very rarely does Maddux throw a ball in the middle of the plate. Started him off away, came inside, and then you see Eddie Murray having to reach the third pitch right on the outside corner, tailing away from him, and he can't do anything but hit it right on the end of the bat.
Yeah, the thing about Greg is if he misses off the plate away or off the plate inside.
1 out, bases empty in the second inning, and now Jim Thome, who had maybe the biggest postseason hit of all for the Indians, trailing in the swing game, the 5th game at Jacobs Field last Sunday, the 2-run homer to put the Indians in front. They won the game and then won Tuesday in Seattle. 1-1. Some question about Thome and Alvaro Espinoza platooning in the World Series. Lefty-righty, but Mike Hargrove indicating it'll be Thome every night, taking inside. And there is Espinoza, who played a key role in the game at Seattle on Tuesday. In fact, it was Espinoza who scored the first run of the game on a base hit by Lofton. Little squibber down the line at first, stays fair, and McGriff handles it himself. 2 down, and that'll bring up Ramirez. Sparkling night in the Georgia State Capitol. That scenic provided by the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes up from Pompano Beach, Florida. 2 out, second inning. Manny Ramirez coming up. You know, when you look at Greg Maddux, he is so unassuming. If you see him walk down the street, it's about the last thing in the world you think he does. I keep thinking years ago, if he had been on What's My Line, Kitty Carlisle's first question would have been, are you an accountant at Arthur Anderson and Company?
Especially when he was wearing his glasses. He almost looks professorial, as does Hershiser off the field.
Choir boys.
Yeah.
Strike, 0-1. Manny Ramirez. The Indians so potent top to bottom. Here's a guy who hit .308 with 31 homers, and he bats 7th, and that's his regular spot. 1-1.
Well, the difference is that the Indians are never going to see in the American League a pitching staff as deep as Atlanta, and you don't get too many good pitches to hit off of Maddux.
Hits one deep to left field and hooking right down the line and going foul.
And again, while that may seem, because that was almost a home run, a very good pitch to hit, look where the ball is. It's just enough off the plate. And even with Ramirez, who's got a terrifically quick bat, he's got to get it out, that bat head out, and the result is a foul ball. Now, that ball's in the middle of the plate. It's 2-0.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's low, ball 2. Manny in the All-Star game this year at Arlington, he was the youngest player on either team at the age of 23. Half swing, got him. 3 up, 3 down, end of 1.5. It remains Cleveland 1, Atlanta nothing.
I do not drive to work. I do not drive to get from point A to point B. I do not drive to run away from the world. I just love to drive.
The new 1996 Monte Carlo. Personal space from genuine Chevrolet.
Oh, you didn't get tomatoes?
Nah, I've been in kind of a rut lately, you know. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Whopper, no tomatoes.
Change your pace.
Exactly.
Expecting a weave and you bob.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking zig, use egg.
Yeah.
You're a bold man.
The Whopper. It always tastes great because it's always fixed your way, with fries and a drink for just $2.99 every day at Burger King.
So, you out of your rut?
Believe I am.
You're rutless.
Enough with the ruts.
You've been ejected from the Rutmobile. No ruts, no glory.
You ever hear anyone talk about life like you gotta chew it up and spit it out? You gotta want it so bad you can taste it. You gotta be hungry. If so, Gatorade has one question for you. You want something to drink with that? Because you're gonna be thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Melanie sees her ex.
I dated myself, for crying out loud.
But is Tony more his type?
You're just jealous because he likes me more than he likes you.
You've no idea.
Hudson Street, Tuesday on ABC.
Indians leading 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. Maddux allowing an unearned run in the first. Lofton led off by bouncing one to short. Juggled by Belliard. Then Kenny stole second and third and scored on Baerga's ground ball. Bobby Cox has been to the World Series as a manager now 3 times, and one other time in 1985 he came within 1 game. He managed Toronto that season and they were beaten by Kansas City in 7.
And a lot of people think it's been easy for the Braves with all the talent, but it hasn't. As a matter of fact, Bobby Cox has managed 23 one-run games in World Series play. That's one shy of Sparky Anderson's postseason record.
Freddie McGriff to lead off. And he launches one to deep right field. She's gone to tie it.
I think he was looking fastball, Jim. I'd say yes.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, was that ball crushed. Woo.
Just like that, 1-1, and Dave Justice looks at a strike. And the count 0-1, and the chant begins with a tomahawk chop at Atlanta. Strike. 0-2.
You know, I talked about early in the opening that Hershiser and Maddux very much alike. Sink the ball, change speeds, out of the middle of the plate, both sides. But the difference is Maddux only threw 8 home runs in the regular season, and Hershiser 21.
0-2, and well, Orel may look like an accountant, as does Maddux.
Or a professor.
Or a professor. But 0-2 is 0-2 no matter what you look like.
Well, you got to pitch inside if you want to be successful. A lot of hitters resent that. But 0-2, if you're David Justice, you have to guard all 17 inches. And this ball is a purpose pitch. Up and in. Just look where the next one went.
Orel, a professor of music on that 0-2 pitch. Chin music.
Breaking pitch fouled at the plate.
I mean, let's look at it tonight. You got the nickname of Greg Maddux is Mad Dog. Tommy Lasorda nicknamed Hershiser, I think, because he looked so calm and collected out there. Bulldog. I mean, these guys, their tenacity and their competitiveness belies the way they look.
And Fred McGriff hits the home run.
He's Crime Dog.
Crime Dog. Crime Dog followed by Justice. 2-2. I think Lasorda actually nicknamed Hershiser Bulldog because he wanted him to think like a bulldog.
Yep.
Fred McGriff hitting his 3rd home run in postseason. He had the key blow in the division series clinching victory against the Rockies. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he had 2 bombs the other way. We saw him tonight. I mean, that ball had to go 430 feet to right center, but against Brett Saberhagen, he took him out, high changeup out in left center. He could hit him anywhere. And, of course, that's why he hit 30 or more home runs 7 consecutive years.
Hershiser getting a new baseball. Harry Wendelstedt works the plate tonight. Jim McKean at first, Bruce Fleming the ump at second, John Hirschbeck at third, Frank Pulley down the line in left, and Joe Brinkman down the line in right. 3-2, nobody out. Bottom of the second, and the game tied at 1. Grounded to short. Omar Vizquel, the first for the out. 1 gone. Now Ryan Klesko comes to the plate. Hit .310 during the regular season, the highest average among the Braves starters tonight. Good power, 23 homers, 70 runs batted in.
And Ryan's mother, Lorene, who is in the ballpark tonight, a big fan of Orel Hershiser when he was playing with the Dodgers.
Shattered bat. The ball hit foul off to the left, and the barrel winds up back of the mound.
Well, she may be a bigger fan if he throws another belt-high fastball like he did to McGriff. Well, this ball just running away, and you know the difference between Hershiser this year and last year is increased velocity, a little bit harder curveball, able to have better arm speed, and he's come up with a split finger. But part of his deal is good movement, and you will not hit a lot of balls when he is on his game on the sweet spot.
It's really a lesson in pitching from both Maddux and Hershiser. A lot of young pitchers think they become overwhelmed with velocity. They think they have to throw a ball through a brick wall to get guys out. But Maddux and Hershiser prove that movement is superior to velocity. Movement and location.
1-1. Well, it's the realtor's mantra, right? Location, location, location. Away, ball 2, 2-1.
Of course, realtors talk about movement too.
Exactly.
They want you to move. It gives them more business.
2-1 the count. Maddux pensively looks on. And Wendelstedt calls a strike here, 2-2. The Braves, who began as a Boston franchise, then went to Milwaukee, have never won a world title in the South. The Indians last won the world title in '48, and down goes Klesko. In fact, in '48, the Indians knocked off the Boston Braves in the World Series. 2 down. O'Brien coming up. Lowest career postseason ERAs. You can see Sandy Koufax under 1. Then the Hall of Famer Christy Mathewson, Eddie Plank, and Orel Hershiser 4th. And then as we change the page, highest career postseason ERA, if you can believe it, Greg Maddux, as that's grounded to short on the first pitch by O'Brien, and he throws him out. So the leadoff homer by McGriff ties it. We go to the third in Atlanta, 1-1.
Time marches on. And if you haven't planned for your retirement, you're losing ground. If you're like most Americans, you probably haven't saved enough, long enough, to retire on solid ground. That's why there's Sun America. Ask your financial advisor about Sun America today. Because the only thing that goes faster than money is time. Look to the sun. Sun America.
Americans love their cars. And we love talking to other Americans who love their cars. Which explains why there are so many car clubs in this country. And more than any other Chevy car clubs. Maybe that's because more of these Americans trust Chevys. From the Camaro Club in Marietta, Georgia with 4 members, to the National Corvette Club with a membership of 10,000. It has a president, a vice president, a treasurer, and a business manager. Just like the one in Marietta.
Babe Ruth hit 714 home runs. But you know, He also struck out 1,330 times.
Oh, man.
This is the fabric of our lives. This is cotton.
Little investment advice. Bip Roberts, 1986 rookie card, worth about $275. 20 years from now, who knows? 1,000, 2,000, might even go.
Bip, man, you were looking at Robin Roberts. Says here your card's worth 4 cents.
Yo, T, 4 cents if it's in excellent condition, but 10 cents if it's totally mint.
Oh, sorry.
She agreed to carry their child until she uncovered a shocking secret.
You did something to your baby.
Alyssa Milano and Connie Selica in the world premiere, The Surrogate, Sunday on ABC.
Game 1 of the World Series, the Indians and the Braves tied 1-1. We start the third with Sandy Alomar to lead off. Goes after the first pitch and grounds it down to Lemke, who juggles, recovers, and has time to get him. Maddux has now set down 7 in a row. Game started with Lofton reaching on an error, stealing 2 bases, and then scoring on a ground out.
Oh, nice play by Lemke. I mean, one of the few positions, third and second. Make sure you knock the ball down, get your body in front of it, and he turns that sinker from Maddux into a 4-3 out.
Now Hershiser, and with the designated hitter not hitting during the regular season, but Orel through the years, good hitting pitcher. 214, 46 runs batted in.
Good bunting pitcher, too.
Thinking about it there, swinging bunt.
As a matter of fact, Orel told Jim Palmer and me yesterday that in every at-bat, he will probably either try to bunt. The only time he'll swing away is in a sacrifice situation. And that's what he does. He tries to draw the third baseman in and then swings. It came up empty there. He's been known to bunt with 2 strikes, too.
That's chopped toward the middle. Nice play by Belliard to field on the run and get him. The Indians have yet to hit a ball out of the infield, and it will bring up Lofton.
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked about the fact that Blauser will not be eligible, but if you're going to have a backup shortstop, why not a guy like Belliard? Now, he's already made an error, but that is a rare occurrence, and he is not going to hurt you with the glove.
2 down, bases empty. We went out of the last inning. We were showing you a graphic illustrating highest career postseason ERA. There's a qualifier there in a way. Maddux 5.57. Remember, in earlier life, he pitched for the Cubs, and he was lit up in 2 starts against the Giants in the 1989 League Championship Series, and that's a good part of the reason for that number.
Yeah, 4 of those home runs came on the only grand slam ever given up by Greg, a grand slam home run by Will Clark at Wrigley Field.
This is the 3rd time Maddux has appeared in postseason play, but it's the first time he's been in the World Series. 2-1. And that's grounded to the right side, so still nothing out of the infield as he's thrown out by Lemke. After 2.5, 1-1 in Atlanta.
When I am alone in the half-light of the canyon, all existence fades to a being with my soul and memories. And the sounds of the big Blackfoot River, and the hope that a fish will rise.
When Dave Thomas created Wendy's spicy chicken filet sandwich, he said, if we're going to make it spicy...
Well, it's a start.
Let's really make it spicy.
Now we're getting closer.
So he seasoned a whole chicken breast filet by adding his own special blend of pepper and spices. And he kept on seasoning until it was perfect.
Bingo.
Come and try Wendy's spicy chicken filet sandwich, because...
when you're hot, you're hot.
Well, you normally see Jeff Foxworthy on ABC on Saturday nights, and there he is. His show preempted tonight, but a big Braves fan with Primo tickets. Speaking of Foxworthy, we'll go to Foxborough. You guys like that for a segue?
Yes.
That'll be the site. Foxborough, Mass. The Buffalo Bills and Jim Kelly against the New England Patriots on Monday Night Football, 9 o'clock Monday night. The Bills 5-1, the Pats 1-5. This game tied 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Buddy Bell in the foreground and Mike Hargrove, who's really done a masterful job. Mike is a deliberate and thoughtful manager, much the way he was as a player. In fact, he was so deliberate, his nickname when he played was the human rain delay.
A couple of minutes to get in the box to get ready to hit. But he was a good hitter, 290 lifetime hitter.
Rookie of the year in the American League in 1974 when he played for Texas.
He made you throw the ball over. Very annoying.
Rafael Belliard goes after a breaking pitch. Belliard, a spray hitter, taking a home run swing on the first pitch.
Well, he's hit one home run in what, about 1,579 lifetime at bats?
That was back on May 5th, 1987. It's been 8 years between homers. Only one major league.
0-2. You swing like that against Orel Hershiser, you're doing him a big favor.
Well, that's where the Braves may be hurt as you look at the difference between Belliard trying to hit the good breaking ball versus Jeff Blauser, even though Blauser had a disappointing year.
Reaches out, hits a comebacker, juggled, throws him out. Belliard grounds back to the box. One away in the third inning, and that will bring up Maddux.
Yeah, the one thing about Jeff Blauser, even though he only hit .211, he is a home run threat, extra base threat, and they will miss him.
Greg Maddux, his numbers for the season, 153, and despite coming up as much as he did, he didn't drive in a single run this year. 0-1 to count. Normally along the way, if a pitcher collects 13 hits, which he did, he'll drive in a run. 1-1.
Yeah, it appears that the starting pitcher for Atlanta that we're going to see, Glavin's the best hitter. Smoltz has the most power, even though he said they've been really pitching me tough lately, and I've had some nagging injuries.
John Smoltz also the best base runner, right?
With a couple of steals. We saw him steal one in the championship series.
Yep.
Smoltz will pitch tomorrow in game 2. 2-1. Excuse me, game 3 on Tuesday in Cleveland. It'll be Tom Glavine, the lefty, tomorrow. Dennis Martinez will pitch game 2 for Cleveland. There had been some speculation he'd be pushed back, but he won't. Nagy goes in the third game. Tomei throws him out. 2 down. So Belliard and Maddux ground out to start the third inning, and Marquise Grissom comes up.
There's El Presidente, 40-year-old Dennis Martinez. I mean, what a game he pitched against the Mariners to get the Indians into this World Series.
Matter of fact, Dennis a grandfather now.
Yes. And not only a grandfather, but it's not the child of his eldest child. It's his second child, his daughter, Erica, who's here tonight with a baby boy.
I saw his 13-year-old son, Gilbert, throwing in the outfield. I told him, I want to be your agent. What an arm.
Grissom takes a strike.
Already got a forkball at 13.
Man.
Grissom singled in the first inning. Marquise was one of the missing parts for this team. He came over at the beginning of the year from Montreal. The Expos had a big fire sale, and he was one of the guys who was let go, and for him it was coming home because Marquise is from this area.
You know, I talked to him, and here's a guy that 91, 92, 76, 78 stolen bases. This year only 29, the most on this club, and he said he had a slightly fractured left heel, so didn't run as much, but that is healthy. And you know, he said, I want to be considered maybe the best leadoff guy in baseball. Everybody talking about Lofton having that distinction.
Well, Tim, you feel he's the best center fielder in the National League right now?
I think he's the best center fielder in the major leagues. I think he plays shallow. I think he takes a lot of hits away. As a matter of fact, Kenny Hill was talking to Jim yesterday, pitcher for Cleveland, and he's played with both Kenny Lofton and Marquise Grissom, and Kenny said no question Grissom is the best center fielder in the big leagues.
Bounces 1, ball 3.
Oh, 2-2 curveball. Again, Grissom, a very, very good fastball hitter. Would like to get him out with the breaking ball. And Alomar very nicely coming up with it.
Chased it. Down he goes. Tagged by Alomar. 1-1 after 3. Back we come to Atlanta after this from our ABC stations.
The PGA Tour's top money winners tee it up in their season's grand finale. It's golf's richest event, the Tour Championship, next Saturday on ABC Sports.
If you've been dreaming of a new Toyota, wake up! It's the Toyota Dream Clearance. Now's the time to get the Camry, Corolla, or Tercel you want. Every 95 Toyota has to go because the 96s are out of the way. There's still a huge selection of 95 to choose from. So we've got special low financing, factory-to-dealer incentives, and incredible year-end leases. Hurry down to the Toyota Dream Clearance, because if you snooze, you lose.
I'm sold on you.
I would just as soon fly fish as breathe. Just made an entirely different life for the two of us. And ever since she's been with Secure Horizons, her entire attitude has changed. Now I'm going to have to stay healthy if I'm going to keep up with her.
Offered by Pacific Care, Secure Horizons is one of America's largest Medicare contracting healthcare plans. Call 800-845-9355.
I want to retire with a good health plan, Betty, and my fly rod in my hand out on the stream.
We have athletes hanging out at SportsCenter all the time. The one thing they have in common, though, they all want their highlights on, they all want the publicity, they all want their name spelled right. But some of them tend to take it a little too far.
No, really, Carl. I want you to have the car. It's not enough room. You can have the car.
Hey, is this your Rolex right here?
Come on, man. You could take it. I mean, look much better than what you got on now. Come on, Mike.
Cherokee, I have a watch.
It's really nice.
Cherokee, I have a watch.
Just take it, man. I mean, come on, Mike.
I can't do this.
Wait,
I can't do that.
I got you, Mike. Oh, look. Mike, come here.
Rolling with a Ram Tough Magnum motor. Get a new Dodge Ram or a new Dakota.
California's truck stop.
A new Dodge.
California's truck stop.
You can out-drive, out-hustle, out-tough, out-muscle, out-tow, out-run, out-work, and out-fun. Show them what you got. Ram's big rig looks and that feel for the road.
California's truck stop.
Plus room, plus torque, and a lot of payload.
California's truck stop. California's truck stop.
The new Dodge.
Can fallen priests be forgiven? Next, Oprah.
Come on, Greg.
Game 1 of the World Series. Cleveland won and Atlanta won. As we head to the 4th inning. And Omar Vizquel lays one down foul up the third baseline. 0-1. The Indians have yet to hit a ball out of the infield. The game started, if you joined us late, Kenny Lofton with a bouncer to short. Belliard juggled it. It was an error. Lofton then stole second and third and came home on a ground out by Baerga. Atlanta tied it on one swing of Fred McGriff's bat in the second. Maddux hasn't walked anybody and he has struck out 2. 1-1.
Greg Maddux graduating from Valley High in Las Vegas in 1984, and he's seen nothing but peaks since then.
Yes. 2-1.
Matter of fact, Greg still lives in Las Vegas. His dad is a poker dealer at a Las Vegas casino. I guess his father's seeing different hands than he is right now.
Vizquel hits a fly ball to center field. It's the first ball the Indians have hit to the outfield, and routine for Grissom. I'd like to see his father in a game with that guy, Vizquel, with his hand dealing from the bottom of the deck. Now Baerga grounded out in the first inning. The Cleveland, I tell you, you know, when you put the Cleveland Indians and the term World Series together, I mean, it finally happened. Comebacker, nice play. Maddux throws him out. 2 down. Game 1 of the World Series is being brought to you by the Cars and Trucks 36 million people depend on everyday genuine Chevrolet. Network MCI, how to get modern communications technology working for your business. And Wendy's Spicy Chicken Sandwich, get it while it's hot. You know, you think about the Indians through the years, not only was it frustrating and futility filled, this was a team that would never finish in what would be regarded as the first division. You'd have to go back to the 60s to find a year when the Indians finished as high as 3rd, and throwing out last year's season, which was cut short. They were 2nd last year, but back to the 60s to finish above 4th. Bell takes a strike. It's almost as if in 1 year with this team, so beautifully constructed by John Hart and Mike Hargrove, it's as if they erased everything in one season. 100 wins, 44 losses, thrilling victories, great ballpark, rejuvenated city. There he is, John Hart. That's hit to right field and deep. Justice goes back and makes the catch on the warning track. Bell gone, 12 straight, set down by the Professor. 1-1, middle of the 4th.
There was a time when we didn't have a worry in the world. Today, well, we seem to be making up for it. That's why you need Chevy Lumina, a car you can trust, a car so well engineered and affordable, you could have it paid off long before it needs its first tune-up. Chevy Lumina, because someday you'll realize nobody's got enough money and everybody's got enough worries.
Inside every one of us is an athlete with a thirst for the game going on around us. It's life. And if you play hard at it, you get thirsty. That's why we make Gatorade. Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up.
Sherwin-Williams invited some of our toughest customers to test our Everclean paint. They brought their messiest, their dirtiest, and their greasiest household stains and punished our test wall. With Everclean, stains don't stand a chance. They wipe away or your money back. So hey, give us your best shot. There's only one Everclean paint and only one place to get it. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
A season premiere so shocking,
Police! Something bad is happening.
it's impossible to show you everything. NYPD Blue, Tuesday, viewer discretion advised.
1-1, bottom of the 4th inning. Every time you look at the calendar and see October 21st up there, you think back to October 21st, 75, if you're a baseball fan. One of the great World Series ever. The classic home run in Game 6 by Carlton Fisk. Down the line and gone at Fenway Park to tie that series at 3 games apiece, only to see the Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine, win it in Game 7. Hit that one off Pat Darcy 20 years ago tonight. Bottom of the 4th inning. Game tied 1-1. 2, 3, and 4 for the Braves. Lemke, Jones, and McGriff. Lemke grounded out in the 1st inning.
Yeah, you look at those numbers, not very impressive, but coming into the night in World Series play, he was hitting over 300 at 326. And he can be a pest. And this is the guy, if you're Hershiser, you have to get out with Jones and McGriff coming up.
Two and oh.
Mark playing in his 42nd postseason game. Teammates referred to him as dirt. He does get his uniform dirty.
The way postseason is constructed now, you almost have to relate in relative terms what postseason stats mean, because with the added round of postseason play, a team could now conceivably play as many as 19 postseason games, or about an eighth of a regular season in October alone. For the Braves, this is postseason game number 9 this year. The count 2-2. For the Indians, it's number 10.
Well, 2-1 pitch, and you can see Alomar sit right on the outside corner. And there's the movement and location.
Called strike 3. Might have been looking away and got it on the inner half.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing you have to have when you're pitching well is confidence. You have to know you can throw strikes. He goes 2-0, and over the course of the year, he faced 170 batters leading off innings and only walked 6. So he comes back, makes 2 great pitches, and you're seeing the latter one of it. Good movement, and again, right at the knees, which is where Hershiser would like to stay.
Chipper Jones takes away ball 1, 1-0. Chuck Knobloch setting that mark with the Twins in '91.
Of course, Knobloch did it in 12 games. Chipper Jones has 14 hits in 8 games.
And if you notice his lip being a little swollen, he was, you know, as you mentioned earlier, Al, he would have played left field last year if he hadn't hurt his knee out shagging balls yesterday. Took one off the fence, right off the fence, off the lip. A lot of blood, but I guess no stitches. That's his game face for this 99-95 World Series.
He did it intentionally, you say.
Yeah.
Look more menacing.
One out, bases empty, game tied in the bottom of the 4th inning. That's grounded toward the hole. Baerga started to stumble as he went after it and makes a great play. Carlos was losing his balance as he broke when the ball was hit, but regained it and turns in a nice play to take care of Jones. 2 down.
Jim, you mentioned the 19 errors that Baerga made this year. That's the most of any second baseman, second most, I should say, of any second baseman in the majors. You wouldn't know it with this play, ranging far to his left, and still has the wherewithal to get up and throw perfectly to Eddie Murray to get Chipper Jones. Good play.
Fred McGriff, a booming home run, his first trip to the plate. 0-1. McGriff led off the bottom of the 2nd inning, and the first pitch resulted in this. No doubt. So the runs tonight manufactured in contrasting ways. That's Atlanta's run. The Indians' run due to an error, 2 steals by Lofton, and a ground out. Chopped foul, 1-2.
And keep in mind, after the home run by McGriff, David Justice, the next hitter, on an 0-2 pitch, Hershiser came up and in on him. David eventually made an out at that at bat. As a matter of fact, the Braves haven't had a base runner since McGriff's home run.
Hershiser has retired 8 straight, while Maddux has been retiring 12 straight. Well, this one going very much according to form.
Right.
2 Cy Young winners, and there's a guy who's going to win his 4th against that man who in '88 had one of the greatest seasons ever. Chopper fielded by Orel, and he throws him out. 9 in a row set down by the 37-year-old righty to the 5th in Atlanta in game 1, tied 1-1.
This isn't about why your business has to communicate better or when the time is ripe to put all the new technology to work. We're past that stage. This is about putting laptops on desks and pages in pockets. It's about email and the internet. It's about a person who puts it all together and a company that can give you the hardware and software for free. This isn't about blue sky or sci-fi or by the by. This is about now, about how. Network MCI, that's how.
the Chevy S-Series. It's one ride you don't want to miss.
When Dave Thomas created Wendy's Spicy Chicken Filet Sandwich, he said, if we're going to make it spicy...
Well, it's a start.
Let's really make it spicy.
Now we're getting closer.
So he seasoned a whole chicken breast filet by adding his own special blend of pepper and spices. And he kept on seasoning until it was perfect.
Bingo.
Come and try Wendy's Spicy Chicken Filet Sandwich, because...
when you're hot, you're hot.
Big 8 powers collide when unbeaten Nebraska battles the Colorado Buffaloes or other key conference games in regional action next Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Beautiful shot, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Game 1 of the World Series. Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll select the Chevy Player of the Game. At the conclusion of the World Series, Chevy will present the MVP trophy and donate an Astro van to the Special Olympics in the player's name. The last series MVP was Paul Molitor, who donated his Chevy Astro van to the charity of his choice. And it's funny when you think about it, because we missed the World Series last year. The last pitch in a World Series game prior to tonight was Mitch Williams to Joe Carter.
3-run homer that ended the 1993 World Series.
Now Eddie Murray, who played in the series in '79 and in '83 as Jim Palmer's teammate in Baltimore, takes a strike, 0-1. Maddux, despite giving up the run, the first starter in a World Series game to throw 4 hitless innings at the outset of a game since Roger Clemens did it in the 6th game in 1986. Murray hits a ground ball to the right side, and Lemke throws him out. And why did we forget all about Roger Clemens? Well, that was a pretty famous game on the other end. Through Buckner's legs. Mets win it. Mets win it the next night.
Certainly one of the most remarkable World Series games ever. You mentioned Game 6 in 1975, the Fisk home run. Well, Game 6 in '86. Red Sox and the Mets equally famous.
Jim Thome bounced out in the 2nd inning. On the subject of World Series no-hitters, there's been only one, and it was the all-time Jim, and we featured it at the very top of the telecast tonight with a little soundbite from Don Larson. 1956, a perfect game. 2-0.
And you think about it, Greg Maddux could be perfect through 4 1/3 were it not for the error by Rafael Belliard to lead off the game
on a routine ground ball. Half swing, 2-1.
Well, see, in my mind, that's what Maddux is all about. You got a home run hitter at the plate. Thome already with good 25 during the season, 3 right here, 2-0. Look at this pitch right on the inside corner, and a motto that all the Braves pitchers, especially Glavine and Maddux.
That's hit to left field, and it's a base hit. So Cleveland has its first hit, a single by Thome here in the 5th inning.
And going back to that motto is, if you give in, you give up. Maddux knows, Glavine knows, Smoltz has great stuff. So you make your pitches. And right here, he's going to take something off it. Again, the location, you can see the movement. And what you do is you give up a base hit, but you limit where the base hit is. Not a home run, but a single to a guy that really doesn't steal bases. And that's what you want to do when you get behind to a power hitter.
Manny Ramirez. 2 home runs in postseason, both in the same game with the bases empty against Seattle, Game 2 of the American League Championship Series.
Normally you get down to the bottom of the order and you think there's some relief, but not with Cleveland. How strong is their lineup? Their 6th, 7th, and 8th place hitters had a better average, hit more home runs, and drove in more runs than any other American League team's 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. That is one of the most remarkable things in a year that I've ever seen.
There it is illustrated for you. Bottom of the order at 296. And the American League average for the 3, 4, and 5 spots at 280. And yet Maddux has held them in check tonight. Just the one base hit so far. And that hit by Tomei, not that they've waited very long in Cleveland for a World Series hit, but the last hit by an Indian in the World Series, Al Rosen off Hoyt Wilhelm in '54.
Al probably watching the game from Palm Springs this evening. Ex-Giant general manager.
Hoyt as well.
Yeah.
We hope. We need the ratings. Down he goes. Ramirez strikes out for the second time. That's 3 for Maddux. 2 down, and will bring up Alomar.
I'll tell you, this is a familiar sight for National League hitters. O'Brien moves away, and watch how still his glove is. Now this ball is probably off the plate. You can see 4 or 5 inches, but again, Wendelstedt moves away, O'Brien moves away, and Maddux makes a pitch right where the glove is.
And Jim, I think it benefits a guy like Greg Maddux to have a National League umpire who is familiar with the style behind the plate tonight.
Alomar chops one to the right side, and lefty throws him out. The Indians pick up their first hit in the 5th, but strand a runner. 1-1 in the middle of the 5th.
In searching for a luxury performance sedan, Michael Young tested the Oldsmobile LSS against 3 of the fastest Japan has to offer: the Infiniti J30, Lexus ES300, and teppanyaki chef Yasu Norimoto. And while his 240 horsepower LSS was no match for Yasu's speed, not only did Mr. Young fare much better against the imports, he had them for lunch. Will the LSS pass your test?
There are no medals for being the shoulder to cry on. No awards for passing on traditions. But to the men who give their best every day, we give our best. Gillette Sensor XL. Spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face, and soft, flexible microfins that set up your beard, and Gillette Series shaving gel for incredible smoothness. Sensor XL for the closest, most comfortable shave ever. Gillette, the best a man can get.
How close are you to all the sports you'd ever want to see? With Prime Star. Closer than you think. Prime Star has all the action you're looking for, plus lots of other great programming, all with digital picture and sound. And since Prime Star is a service, there's no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. So if you love sports, call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
Tuesday, Jill Smedling puts a marriage on the rocks.
Why is Mom starting fights in other people's families?
Starting fights here has just become too easy for her. Home Improvement, Tuesday on ABC.
Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida, providing that scenic. The Goodyear Blimp has been hovering above World Series action now for 30 years. Tomorrow night's lineup, Sunday night on ABC, you'll see America's Funniest Home Videos, Lois and Clark. And the ABC Sunday night movie is The Surrogate. What about the World Series tomorrow? Well, it's on television. We can't tell you where, but here's a hint. Our good pals Costas, Euchre, and Morgan were spotted in underground Atlanta.
Well, not only were they in underground Atlanta, Costas followed McCarver into the bathroom.
I think you better explain that.
Well, he got lost. He thought you were going down a tunnel, and you were, I guess. And
well, we'll be back with you Wednesday night for the 4th game from Jacobs Field.
I got a little worried, but no, I mean.
Bottom of the 5th inning. 1-1. Game moving along rapidly. And Dave Justice to lead things off.
I guess Bob just wanted to pick up another check.
Justice fouls it back, and the count 0-1.
You know, we talked how similar Hershiser and Maddux are, but since the home run by McGriff, Orel's faced 9 batters. 3 have struck out, the other 6 have hit ground balls. And against Greg Maddux, ground balls almost all night long. So both guys getting into the groove.
1-1.
Talk about picking up checks. Well, on April the 14th, 1966, That was when David Justice and Greg Maddux were born on the same day, 2 days after this stadium not open, but when the Braves played their first game. They played their first game here on April the 12th, 1966, and 2 days later, David Justice and Greg Maddux were born. So on that day, they pick up the checks. And both can afford it, folks.
Yep. The day before, a lot of people had to write checks. 1-2. Count even. The Braves clinched early. Remember, it was a week ago tonight they knocked off the Reds, and that helped David Justice because he had been bothered with a knee problem through the division series and LCS, and he was the beneficiary of those 6 days off. And he says he feels great now.
Yeah, the only problem he's had on May 6th, he dove for a ball and hurt his right shoulder. Said it won't be well till next year. Can extend. He likes to take that when he lets his left hand off the bat and take that right arm and get it up over his head. He's been unable to do that since May. So the home runs, even though he's had a good year with 24 home runs, not a typical year. He once hit 40. You know, it's interesting when you talk to David, he says, you know what, this is World Series time. The emotions are running rampant. He said you have a tendency to try to do too much. He said, I know I did that in the division series, didn't hit with much power. I know I did the championship series, but I'm just going to try to make contact, because if you don't take that approach against Hershiser and Martinez and Charles Nagy, you're going to get yourself out.
And that's ball 4. Stop the presses there. That's the first walk of the game. He had retired 9 straight.
Well, you think when you're on a roll, you're going to make your pitch. So even 3-2, you've been hurt by McGriff in the middle of the plate. Justice with similar power. He turns it over, and it just runs a little bit outside.
And to reiterate your remark, keep in mind that Hershiser, the leadoff batter, he's only walked 6 in 170 opportunities this year.
And he's behind 1-0 to Klesko.
Well, you mentioned the kind of year. You can see the numbers, but in September, 9 home runs and 22 RBIs for Ryan, and he hit .331 against right-handers this year.
1-1.
That was a fastball swing and a changeup.
Yeah, this is almost one you'd like to see, if you're Hershiser, of him to hit, because he probably would have hit it on the end of the bat. And remember, this guy turns a lot of double plays, does Orel Hershiser.
Justice not a threat for a straight steal. They with 4 steals this year, and with that knee, don't look for a straight steal. Foul back. 1-2.
And don't look for a hit and run either with a guy like Ryan Klesko up there. It's a lot of fly balls, a lot of power. Of course, now it's 1-2 on him, so that for the most part nullifies the hit and run unless it gets to 3-2.
Well, he struck him out on a curveball the first time. Got ahead, as he is now.
Off the plate, 2-2.
Now, we mentioned earlier Hershiser in 1988, 23-8, won a Gold Glove, won a Cy Young Award, most valuable player in the World Series. And he could throw that curveball, even though his best pitch was a sinker, that curveball at any time. 2-2, 3-2. And he said that's the difference. And there's the curveball grip, just changing the seams. His fastball, mostly 2 seamers. He'll hold those 2 fingers right with the seam. Just shifting the ball slightly in his hand.
Called strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Hershiser. Klesko walks away saying, how did he throw it there?
Now that is the same pitch that Mark Lemke struck out on. The fastball inside. It starts inside. The left-hander gives up on it. You think it's inside, but it comes back late for a called strike 3.
And of course, what sets up that pitch? The curveball strikeout the last time. You establish the curveball, they start looking for it.
Now O'Brien at the plate. Charlie grounded out in the second inning. O'Brien, a .227 hitter during the regular season. 1 out, 5th inning. Justice at first base. Game 1 tied 1-1. Strike. Hershiser allowing just 2 hits. A leadoff single by Grissom in the first inning and the booming home run by McGriff in the second.
Well, if you're a very analytical guy, and Orel Hershiser is, I mean, Maddux will be doing the same things. You have the 7th hitter, O'Brien. Doesn't hit for a high average, but did hit 9 home runs. If you get him out, next inning you have Belliard, then you have Maddux, you have Grissom coming up 3rd.
Another strike, 0-2.
And of course, this year against Hershiser, right-handed hitters only hit a little bit under 200 at 198.
Still 0-2. Breaking pitch, a beauty. Strike 3. So he froze Klesko on a pitch that backs up on Ryan, and now strikes out O'Brien, and he can only walk away shaking his head and muttering.
He freezes O'Brien too. It's just a different pitch. Could have been low, but close enough to swing at. Nope, that's a strike.
Again, you know better than anybody as a former catcher, Timmy, it's not where you catch it, it's where it goes across the plate in relation to the hitter's knees.
Now Belliard grounded out in the 3rd inning. 2 out. Justice at first base drew the leadoff walk in a 1-1 tie. Strike. Again, if you joined us late, Jeff Blauser is the Braves' regular shortstop, but because of mainly a problem with his thigh incurred during the National League Championship Series with the Reds, he took batting practice tonight, couldn't go, and he's off the roster for the World Series. So Rafael Belliard will be the starting shortstop in every game.
Albert Bell very deep in left field, as is Lofton. You can kind of understand it here because a double would, for the most part, score David Justice with the pitcher coming up next. Normally you don't play Belliard deep, but here you can understand 3 or 4 feet deeper.
Outfield has been a lonely place tonight.
Boy, has it ever.
1-2.
Well, these pitchers are easy to play behind because they don't spend much time. I mean, they get the sign, they go. They pitch very quickly. But if you're an outfielder, not coming your way, not yet.
It's almost like all the outfielders have been designated hitters tonight. It's the only time they get any action.
Those 3 guys have seen no action.
But this is the proper defense. Belliard with no power the other way, but just in case that good curveball may stay up in the strike zone, you play him in the power field. That's left field a little deeper. Cut off that ball, keep that run from scoring.
Yeah, if you're playing him like that to lead off, for instance, the 8th or 9th inning in a tie ball game, then he would be too deep, but not here.
And Hershiser just letting Justice know that he hasn't forgotten about him. Ground ball right side. Bayaga, a long way to go. Throws dug out by Murray. The Braves squander a leadoff walk in the 5th. It's still 1-1 as we go to the 6th.
The sophisticated material that's used to make the cockpit canopy of the F-16 fighter shatter-resistant is the same material we use to make the headlamp covers on the Aurora. So you can imagine how advanced the rest of the car is. Aurora by Oldsmobile. It's your money.
You're my agent. You have to do something about this. My face is on the cup with the duck. Well, I'm allergic to ducks.
Now at McDonald's, get a free Looney Place to Go cup when you supersize any extra value meal for just 39 cents more.
How'd I get on a McDonald's cup with Marino? I'm agent. I'm allergic to dolphins.
Be sure to get your shot with a Canon Sure Shot, like the new Sure Shot Z70W. Quite a chic little zoom.
Lewis and Clark investigate a love clinic.
Don't think it's a good idea.
Not at this time, Chief.
Disguised as a happy couple.
Please get off of me.
Lewis and Clark, Sunday on ABC.
This is a fine play on both ends. Again, Baerga ranging to his left. And watch the short hop dug out by Murray. Good play.
Time now for tonight's Lexus Diamond Dust Baseball fact. Casey Stengel won more World Series games than any other manager, a total of 37. Which manager has lost the most World Series games? Answer shortly. Hershiser leads off. One hopper to Chipper Jones. And this rapidly paced and played game keeps moving right along. One up and one down in the 6th inning in a 1-1 tie in game 1. And Kenny Lofton comes to the plate.
You know, the amazing thing to me about Maddux is a statement he made. He said, you know, a hitter will come up maybe 550, 600 times a year, and he may face me 7 or 8 times. He said, why would I ever want to do anything or say anything that's going to make him remember me? And in this, you know, age of trash talking in your face, I mean, here's the best pitcher in baseball, at least in the National League, the last 4 years.
Lofton bluffs a 0-1.
And so unassuming. Oh gosh, I just pitched another shutout.
By golly. Spears it on a hop. Flips to first. Well, he just makes it look so easy.
Along with all the other things, he hasn't made an error all year. Won the Gold Glove Award 4 times.
Make it 5
times.
And most likely he'll win his 4th Cy Young and another Gold Glove this year. You become, I mean, you know, in softball you have that roamer, that extra guy. Well, a pitcher, you become an infielder, a middle infielder the minute you release the ball, and nobody does it better in the National League than Greg Maddux.
Hershiser's not too bad himself.
Vizquel, strike, 0-1.
Well, Timmy, you know, for years we played baseball, and infielders, outfielders will tell you have to anticipate the ball is going to be hit to you. The same thing happens when you release the ball as a pitcher. Some do, some don't.
1-1. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, home of the Braves since '66. Another look at that last pitch. And home of the Braves for only one more season. They're building the new Olympic Stadium just to the south of this facility, ready for the Olympics next summer. And then the Braves move in there in '97. That's grounded sharply to the right side. Great stop by Lemke. Wheels and gets him. One great glove man throws out another. Ted Turner says, yeah, 1-1.
If you were to take every honor, every award, everything positive that's been said about the Toyota Camry, and lay them end to end, you'd probably ask yourself, why did I do that? Better to drive one yourself and come up with a few accolades of your own. The 1996 Camry, the gold standard from Toyota.
Time. It fools you. You think you have all the time in the world, and then one morning you wake up and you're older and getting closer to retirement. But many Americans haven't saved enough to enjoy it. That's why there's Sun America. Ask your financial advisor about us today. Because it's not just your retirement, it's your future. Look to the sun. Sun America.
For cars that can benefit from higher octane,
Frank, we're late.
Texaco Clean System 3 Power Plus and Power Premium are formulated to clean your engine's intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers while you're driving. For smooth starts and sure acceleration. Just give us 5 tanks, and we think you'll see a difference. A word of advice, though. Maybe you'd better leave the windows rolled up.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
A ship goes down. Now sailors must fight the enemy below. Stacy Keach, Richard Thomas, Mission of the Shark. Tonight at 11:30 on Channel 7.
There is no better second baseman in the National League to turn a double play than Mark Lemke. And here you see another attribute, great range. And may not seem with 2 outs that important, but Vizquel with 29 steals. Only 1 hit off Maddux. If he gets on, he may steal, and that's the way you've got to manufacture a run. And Lemke puts Vizquel out, and the Braves up to bat. Big out.
Game 1 billed as a great pitcher's duel, and it's been just that. Cleveland's run in the first. Lofton reached on an error, stole second and third, scored on a ground out. And Fred McGriff, with 1 swing, tied it in the second inning with a home run, and that's that. Maddux leads off, bottom of the 6th inning. Strike, 0-1.
You saw that graphic. That was Maddux's career average. His 2 home runs were hit when he was with the Chicago Cubs. He has not hit a home run with Atlanta.
Waves at it, and the count 0-2. Grissom on deck, and then Lemke.
That was a mistake right there. That was a hanger. Hadn't seen too many of those tonight. But Orel Hershiser knows he got away with one there, even to a pitcher.
And boy, does that hanging curveball speed up a pitcher's bat.
Just flattened out. Grissom on deck. And now he snaps one off. Strike 3. 6 Ks now for Hershiser. Here's the Lexus Diamond Dust answer. Which manager has lost the most World Series games? Casey Stengel won the most. 37.
How about Connie Mack?
I don't think so. Here it comes. And the answer is John McGraw with the Giants, 28.
Figure Connie Mack's in uniform for 50 years, and his uniform was a suit.
Yeah, but his team didn't make it to the World Series very much. In the
late 20s, 1930s, they played the Cardinals there.
Yeah.
Of course, they beat the Cardinals in 1930. That was, by the way, a year where the St. Louis Cardinals fielded 300 hitters in their lineup and still lost to the Philadelphia Athletics. Indians tonight was 7.
Grissom pops it up. down the right field line. There's a lot of room there, and Murray chases it down and can't make the play.
I tell you, pretty valiant effort for a 39-year-old guy that only played 18 games at first base. And you mentioned that I had played with Eddie Murray as a teammate with the Orioles years ago. About 16 years ago, he probably would have caught that ball. Terrific first baseman. For a right-handed first baseman, turn the double play 3-6 to 3 as well as anybody. Cat-like on bunts.
He might have caught it, but not in too many ballparks.
No.
In a lot of ballparks, that's in about the 9th row.
Well, Oakland, I can come to think, a lot of foul territory there.
There used to be even more room in foul territory in this park when it first opened. 1-2 the count. It's a paradox in a way. It's known as the launching pad because balls rocket out of here, but with the extra room and foul ground, that benefits the pitcher. Grounder to short. Anything but a launching pad tonight with these two guys, and Vizquel throws him out. 2 down. Game 1 of the World Series is being brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. And Tagamet HB, the most prescribed medication of its kind, is now for heartburn. 2 out, bases empty, and Lemke comes to the plate. 1-0.
There have been 35 outs recorded in this game. Only 2 outs in the outfield.
Funny thing about the World Series, it brings in a lot of people who don't watch a lot of baseball, and if they equate scoring to excitement, they're probably bored to tears. But if you love this game, it's a classic pitcher's battle tonight. Just tremendous. And if you enjoy the subtleties of it, it's been a great game.
Oh, these are 2 good pitching staffs. I mean, Atlanta, as you mentioned in your opening, allowed the lowest amount of runs in the major leagues. And then, of course, I mean, the Indians, they can pitch. They can pitch with the best of them.
3-1. Inducing groundouts, the active career leaders. Well, you've got all 3 in the World Series. Dennis Martinez working tomorrow night. 3-2.
I mean, Cincinnati, one of the best. There's Denny El Presidente from Nicaragua
with Tony Pena.
Tony, a couple of the old guys hanging out together. Tony at 38.
And Pena will catch tomorrow night. Mike Hargrove said, I'm not going to break up that combination. There's Pena. They did a tremendous job in Seattle the other night, and they're coming back tomorrow as a battery.
Yeah, I asked Tony, I said, you catching up there in Seattle? He said, yep, it's catcher's appreciation night. I get to catch.
Yep.
Boy, does he have fun. Boy, those guys really communicate very much like Maddux and O'Brien.
I mean, that was, when you think back, that was just a spectacular performance the other night by Martinez. So much of the focus was on Randy Johnson. Kenny Lofton was really the key to the victory offensively, but that guy, I can't imagine. I mean, you've seen most of his starts, or a good many of them, through his career, Jim. How could he be any better than he was the other night under those circumstances?
You can't. Mark Wiley, the pitching coach, saying he refuses to throw the ball over. When he throws on the side, he doesn't throw strikes. Everything is off the plate, one way or the other. Another pitcher that does not give in to the hitters.
It's the best formula a pitcher can have. They look like strikes but aren't.
Right. If he can pull it off.
2 out, bases empty, and the 3-2 pitch is hit foul down the left field line.
Well, we're watching 2 guys tonight that can pull it off and have pulled it off. Greg Maddux and Orel Hershiser.
Yeah, Lemke's probably going to get one of the better pitches to hit tonight because Orel Hershiser does not want to walk Mark Lemke to get to either Chipper Jones or the guy on deck, McGriff, who's already homered. So in this situation, 2 outs, full count. I'm going to maybe aim a little bit for the more of the middle of the plate.
Whacked into center field, a 2-out single off the bat of Lemke. first hit in the game since the second inning, or actually for Atlanta since the second inning. The Indians' base hit came in the fifth.
They're pretty predictable. You're going to make Mark Lemke swing your way on base, and that's exactly what he does.
There are times to challenge a hitter. There are times to finesse. Obviously, Hershiser, a student of pitching, realizes that's a time to challenge. And Lemke bested him in that situation.
Now Chipper Jones lined into a double play and grounded out. Takes outside ball one. One and one.
See him asking home plate umpire Harry Wendelstedt, is that a ball? I'm sure Harry said yes. That was that good sinker just sinking down and away.
Two and one. Grounded just foul outside first. Loved by Murray, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There are a lot of managers in baseball who would send a runner with a 2-2 count and 2 outs. I don't think it's a running situation, because if this next pitch is a ball to Chipper Jones, then Lemke's compelled to run on the 3-2 pitch anyway.
That makes a lot of sense. He doesn't go. The pitch is waved at and missed, and down he goes. Look at the Bulldog. What a beauty. 1-1. End of 6. Back we come after this from our ABC stations.
Tuesday, the Connors crashed their first bar mitzvah.
What temple do you belong to?
Temple Bette Midler.
Roseanne, Tuesday on ABC.
Cheers. Introducing the new Civic from Honda. More room, more refined, more luxury. The new Civic from Honda.
When you're in Los Angeles and you've got Miller Lite,
life is good.
Yeah, I can always use a cold. Oh yeah. So many beaches, so little time. Nice shot. Whoa, look at that.
Icy, cold, chilly.
Fiesta. Great bars, no doubt. Cerveza fría, por favor. Yeah, so it goes something like this. You're in LA. You got Miller Lite. Life is good.
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines around the world.
Excuse me, guys.
Than any other card. Look for your Gold MasterCard invitation in the mail and apply today.
If a better body came in a can, or from a box, or on a video, you'd already have one. So stop kidding yourself and join the club that lets you start getting in shape for $5. Valley Total Fitness. It's easy, because no other health club gives you more for your money. State-of-the-art equipment, classes, all for $5. It's the best health club value in America. So skip the drinks. Start getting the body you want right now for $5. Call Valley Total Fitness at 1-800-WORKOUT. But hurry, this offer ends soon.
The excitement of Mighty Ducks hockey, Monday at 9 on 7.
Yeah. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Off to the right, that's I-75, and that's a sight Atlantans rarely see this day.
Flowing traffic
flowing freely northbound on I-75. Get in your cars, Atlantans.
Well, it's amazing. They have all these roads, and you can't ever drive on them. I mean,
a lot of construction going on preparatory to the Olympics. Baerga at the plate, and he grounds it foul, and the count 0-2.
The Quipster Larry Anderson comes to mind. His line is, why do you drive on parkways and park on driveways?
Good question.
Maybe you can find that answer here in Atlanta.
Well, the hitters have found no answers tonight except for McGriff, and Baerga goes down on strikes. 3 pitches. Carlos is gone. 4 Ks for Maddux. 1 out in the 7th inning, and Bell coming up.
Well, Ted, this is that two-seam fastball that you appear, if you're a hitter, that it's going to run right out underneath your body, and then it tails back. So it just catches the inside part of the plate, and again, another guy called out looking.
And we talked about it on the opening. The X's on both sides of the plate. Nobody does it better than Greg Maddux. That's his favorite 2-strike pitch to left-handers, that ball that tails back over the corner.
Now Albert Bell takes a strike. Bell with 50 home runs during the regular season. Bell in high school was a great football player. In fact, when Jerry Faust was at Notre Dame, Bell was offered a scholarship to play in South Bend as a quarterback, and I asked him the other night why he didn't accept it. He said, I was only 5'10", 160. I had no idea I'd grow to be this big. 1-1. Now he's big enough to be a tight end.
Well, you mentioned those 17 home runs he hit in September, 31 when you include August, 14 there. But in September, 5 times he had multi-home run games, and he can hit them in bunches.
1-2.
Well, Maddux just won't throw one anywhere but on the corner. Two to 1 ratio.
Hit down to third. Nice play by Jones, who started to charge, then had to back up and avoid getting caught between hops to throw him out. Good play.
That ball with that top spin really ate Chipper Jones up, but watch his reactions. He wanted to come in. He backs up, catches it in the web, and throws him out. Fine play.
Remember what he told us yesterday? He said, as a former shortstop, I'd rather play everybody up on the grass, even Albert Bell. You don't get those in between hops.
He's glad he was back.
Yeah, I would be too. See, he got a good pitch to hit. He knows it. One of the few pitches that Greg Maddux got up in the strike zone.
Eddie Murray, earlier this season, his 3,000th hit, which is just about an automatic ticket into the Hall of Fame. And he grounds it to the right side. McGriff backs up, flips to Maddux. 3-1 in the scorebook. And at the end of 6½, it's still tied 1-1.
Dad?
Yeah?
There's something I want to tell you.
What is it, son?
Well, Dad, you're my dad. And I love you, man.
You're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Ray, forget it, Johnny.
Because someday you'll get that big promotion that moves you to Seattle. Someday kids will be in the picture. And someday you'll get away to write the great American novel. It'll happen. That's why we've spent 28 years constantly improving the Corolla. So wherever life takes you, we'll be there. The newly restyled Toyota Corolla. We're looking forward to tomorrow.
Let's face it, Fire's the only way to cook a burger.
It's true.
Like you're stranded on a desert island. What do you want with you? A frying pan or a hibachi?
You gotta go hibachi.
It's no contest.
The great-tasting flame-broiled Whopper, just $2.99 with fries and a drink at Burger King.
Goodyear retailers have lowered prices on America's #1 brand.
Lower! Lower!
Everyday lows start at $19.99 and save 25% on other famous Goodyear tires. How low are the prices? Drop in and find out.
Emma, seems like we've known each other forever.
Yeah, I know. 2 weeks.
Will you marry me? 'Cause Emma, I love you, man.
Oh, Johnny, you're not getting my Bud Light.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Johnny?
Make it a Bud Light.
Jane?
It's Joan.
Jane, Joan, whatever. I feel like I've known you forever.
Sunday. No need to crowd. There are plenty of new videos for everyone. So wash up, but don't miss a full hour of America's Funniest Videos Sunday on ABC.
Game 1 of the World Series in Atlanta. Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Hershiser and Maddux. And this one going according to Hoyle so far, with McGriff, Justice, and Klesko coming up. Fred McGriff has accounted for all of the Braves scoring tonight. A booming home run in the 2nd inning, and then he grounded out in the 4th.
This is a key inning, obviously, for Hershiser because he's facing 3 left-handed batters with power.
Yeah, he's a mortal guy if you have to face left-handers. Right-handers hitting under 200, but lefties hitting 281.
And now with the count 2 balls and no strikes, Vizquel moves over to the right field side of second.
That's because McGriff's more apt to pull the ball when the count's in his favor. If the count goes to 2-2, you may see Vizquel go back to the shortstop side.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that hits the ground balls as a pull hitter, but the fly balls the other way.
Off speed for a strike. Beauty. 2-1. In the bullpen, the righty is Julian Tavares and the lefty is Paul Ossenmacher. With the Bulldog going to the 7th. Off speed again, missing. Ball 3. Hershiser tonight has walked just 1. He walked Justice leading off in the 5th. And he has struck out 7.
If Fred gets the fastball here, it'll be outside.
You bet. 3-2.
Well, say you learn your lesson. You make a mistake, he hits a home run. Doesn't mean you put the fastball in your back pocket, but just look where this ball is located. Either on the corner or just off it. And he gets the call.
Now Vizquel moves back to the left side of second base more conventionally, and Alomar goes to the mound. First time Alomar's done. This is the first real critical situation in a way. 3-2 to McGriff. They want to make sure they're in sync.
Yep.
And in sync is out of sync. Ball 4. So Hershiser, for the 2nd time in the last 3 innings, walks the leadoff man. And Mike Hargrove looks on now as Dave Justice comes to the plate.
I don't think Bobby Cox has a thought of bunting in this situation. Dave Justice, a fly ball hitter, that rules out for the most part the double play ball. I mean, he hits into an occasional double play, 5 this year. But if you bunt, then you may bring the left-hander in to face Klesko.
And he's up there, squares and takes outside. Ball one.
Or if he does bunt, you may pitch around Klesko to get to O'Brien. A lot of ways to look at it.
Yep, you walk Klesko and get to Charlie O'Brien.
And you got a double play pitcher on the mound.
Two and oh. Justice checking with third base coach Jimmy Williams.
Turning loose here, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, you do. I mean, if you're Bobby Cox, it's got to be a little bit obvious that maybe Orel's struggling with his control. Not locating that fastball. Couldn't do it 3-2 to McGriff. And hasn't been able to do it here to Justice.
And I'd be very interested to know if he were bunting on his own on that first pitch, or just faking a bunt to draw the infield in and then go to whacking.
I suspect it was the latter to give the Indians something to think about.
Yeah, right.
1-1 tie. Crowd rising as one for the 3-0 pitch, which is ball four. Atlanta with runners at first and second and nobody out. And Klesko coming up. And a visit to the mound. Mark Wiley, the pitching coach.
Again, I would be surprised to see Klesko bunting here, even though a successful bunt would move McGriff to third base. Then you have Charlie O'Brien, followed by Belliard. You're going to have to pinch hit for Belliard. That takes him out of the game. And remember, Jeff Blauser was taken off the roster before this game started.
And they're going to go to the bullpen. Hershiser did not have the magic words for Wiley, at least the magic words to stay in. And Paul Ossenmacher comes in from the bullpen.
Time marches on. And if you haven't planned for your retirement, you're losing ground. If you're like most Americans, you probably haven't saved enough, long enough, to retire on solid ground. That's why there's Sun America. Ask your financial advisor about Sun America today. Because the only thing that goes faster than money is time. Look to the sun. Sun America.
You're my agent. You have to do something about this. My face is on the cup with a duck. Well, I'm allergic to ducks.
Now at McDonald's, get a free Looney Place to Go cup when you supersize any extra value meal for just 39 cents more.
How'd I get on a McDonald's cup with Marino? Some agent. I'm allergic to dolphins.
Goodyear retailers have lowered prices on America's #1 brand.
Lower! Lower!
Everyday lows start at $19.99 and save 25% on other famous Goodyear tires. How low are the prices? Drop in and find out.
The Connors crashed their first bar mitzvah.
What temple do you belong to?
Temple...
Roseanne.
Bette Midler.
Then he's Melanie's ex, but is Tony more his type?
You're just jealous because he likes me more than he likes you.
You've no idea.
Hudson Street. Then
I got an A on my psychology test.
Jill plays shrink and puts a marriage on the rocks on Home Improvement. Then Christine and Hayden meet the mother of their child.
This is where we relax.
On Coach, all new, all Tuesday on ABC.
Yeoman work done by Hershiser. The game tied 1-1, and now Ossenmacher in from the bullpen. And now the game really begins. I mean, these are two pretty evenly matched teams, and we'll start going left and right. And the short men and the long men are going to play very pivotal roles, not only tonight, but throughout the series.
Well, as a matter of fact, Bobby Cox has already gone to a right-handed hitter. Mike Devereaux will be a pinch hitter for Ryan Klesko.
Yeah, Klesko without any sacrifices, and now you bring in Ossenmacher to face Klesko because lefties only hit 177 often, and then of course Bobby Cox does what he has to do. And there's Orel Hershiser, no doubt very disappointed because control one of his long suits. And again, when you pitch against Maddux, it's very difficult when every pitch means the game. So a very intense game for Orel. I think he got a little bit tired.
It is still going to be interesting to see whether Devereaux bunts or not. Runners on at first and second and no outs because you have the bottom of the order Charlie O'Brien and Rafael Belliard following Devereaux.
Well, this series is going to come down, I think, to the closers on several occasions, and we're talking about Mesa and Wohlers, but it's also going to come down to the in-between guys.
Absolutely.
And here's one of those in-between guys right now in Assenmacher. And we're speaking of people like Alejandro Pena for Atlanta. For Cleveland, Julian Tavares is the setup man, and Assenmacher comes in normally to get lefties, but here to try to get Devereaux to pop one up on a bunt attempt.
Well, keep in mind that it's easier for a left-hander to field the bunt if the ball is bunted down the third base line, because he's falling that way once he releases the ball.
You also got to understand, Devereaux also without a sacrifice this year, and used to be a 5 and 6 hitter with the Orioles, so not used to having to move runners along. He usually drove them in.
Murray charging in from first, and he's up there not to bunt, at least on the first pitch. 1-0. Devereaux was the League Championship Series most valuable player. Had the big hit in Game 1 to beat Cincinnati, and then a crushing home run to end things in Game 4. And he bunts foul in the count 1-1.
And you can tell by that bunting technique, bat not out in front of home plate, not waiting for the ball to really come to the bat, not deadening the ball.
Yeah, usually if the bat's in foul territory, you'll bunt the ball foul.
And that's what happened there. Paul Assenmacher with a great curveball, and I'll tell you what, everybody talks about bunting high fastballs. That's the pitch you throw, but Assenmacher with that good hard curveball, it is hard to get that pitch down on a good breaking ball because it goes down so quickly.
Murray charges. He's up there to swing away and takes inside, ball 2.
On occasion, with runners on at first and second, 2 ball and 1 strike count on the batter, Bobby Cox will put the hit and run on in a situation like this. It's a very gutsy call, because if Devereaux swings and misses, McGriff would be dead at third.
They stay. The pitch is low. 3-1. And the crowd rises as one as Devereaux checks with Jimmy Williams. Mouth to ear. Coolest guy in the joint right there. Ball 4.
Well, this is absolutely amazing. You got a pitcher's duel going on. Very few hits, very few base on balls, and all of a sudden they're loaded up. 3 walks.
Now Charlie O'Brien and Mike Hargrove goes to the mound. Julian Tavares in the bullpen.
This could be a double switch right here. Usually if a manager goes to the umpire, the pitcher's spot is due up 4th and the top of the 8th inning, and usually that denotes a double switch.
And that's something that Mike Hargrove has not pulled off ever. We talked to him before the game about the last time he managed in a game with a pitcher hitting. He hasn't. He's been with the Indians since '91. He managed in the minors for a long time, always with the DH. And so something novel for Hargrove here. But as he said to us tonight, we're not dealing with brain surgery. You bring in a pitcher, you bring in another guy, and the pitcher will be Tavares with the bases loaded and no one out.
For cars that can benefit from higher octane, Texaco Clean System 3, Power Plus, and Power Premium gasolines are formulated to clean your engine's intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers while you're driving. For smooth starts and sure acceleration. Just give us 5 tanks. And you may feel like you've left your old car behind.
Oh, add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
a big guy, and when he gets a cold, he gets a big cold. When he was little, well, he never really was little. Our doctor recommended Robitussin for his big cough. Now that he's all grown up, Robitussin makes a cold formula too. These little liquid gels can take care of 7 feet, 300 pounds of stuffiness, congestion, and coughs. Now, if they only had a formula for free throws.
Robitussin cold formulas, recommended by Dr. Mom O'Neill.
With the game tied 1-1, what Hargrove has done since Murray made the last out in the 7th inning, he moves Paul Sorrento in at first base so he can bat him in the 9 spot, due up 4th in the 8th inning. And with Taveras coming into the game to pitch, Julian bats in Murray's spot. So the pressure squarely on Taveras now. The bad news is the bases are loaded for Cleveland with nobody out. The good news is you've got O'Brien due up, with Polonia now out in the on-deck circle to bat for him. The good news was going to be O'Brien at 227 to be followed by Belliard at 222 and the pitcher's spot, but with a chance to crack it open and take the lead, Bobby Cox goes to the bench and brings up the former Yankee.
Well, line drive hitter Luis Polonia, and you got a very talented 22-year-old right-hander from the Dominican Republic. I mean, had an outstanding year. It went 10-2. Right-handers only hit 206, but Cox brings up the left-hander, and Taveras throws in the mid, maybe lower 90s. Good slider, good forkball, and he is going to be tested here.
I think you have to play your infield in here. It's the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll see how Mike Hargrove is going to play it. Vizquel back at shortstop, so they'll pinch the corners and play the middle infielders in double play depth. Keep in mind, the one added thing Polonia has is speed. He's tough to double.
Polonia was picked up from the Yankees exactly for this type of situation. You saw his career mark as a pinch hitter, 330. So here he is in the first game of the World Series. Bases loaded, nobody out. The infield remains at double play depth at short and second, and the pitch is a strike on 1. McGriff started the inning with a walk. Justice then walked. And so did Devereaux. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Grounded to short, and it's juggled by Vizquel. He gets it out there, and they score the go-ahead run. But Freddie McGriff forgot the bases were loaded. A huge break for the Braves because, among other things, McGriff was confused and was holding up. Cox is going to argue the call, but McGriff got away with what would have been a classic base running mistake. He was waiting before running on a ground ball with the bases loaded. Cox arguing the call with Fremming at second base. Bobby saying, look at the replay, but they're not going to replay this one.
I don't think Vizquel ever had control of the ball. Bruce Fremming called Devereaux out at second base because he said he was in the act of throwing. He never had control of the ball. Never had. That's not even close. Not only is he not in the act of throwing, he didn't even have control of the ball as he's touching second base. Watch it slip out of his glove right there. You must have control when you step on the bag, and he didn't.
Braves get a bad break there.
Yep.
What would have happened if Vizquel had come up with the ball? McGriff hanging between third and home.
Well, you solve all those problems when you play the infield in. And we talked about playing the infield in before the play was hit. Mike Hargrove electing to play him in double play depth.
And I got to think right here, Bobby Cox is saying, Bruce, ask somebody else. Maybe somebody saw the fact that the ball was out.
Well, of course, I think Bruce in this situation, Jim, had the best shot. Here's Fred McGriff, confused on the play, breaking back toward third, and then by the time he comes home, he did score, obviously, but Fred didn't realize the bases were loaded.
The ball was off the bat when you saw him begin to break back toward third. Bases loaded, nobody out on a ground ball. I mean, there's only one thing to do, obviously. So it winds up as a force at second. That's an RBI for Polonia. It's 2-1 Atlanta. One out, runners at first and third. And Cox emphatically going through the signs.
And this situation has squeeze written all over it, with Belliard, the batter, against Taveras, and Greg Maddux on deck. You got to think that the squeeze would be in order sometime in the first 3 or 4 pitches.
I'd be anticipating it. And this is where you miss Eddie Murray. You did the double switch. He's been around enough to notify people of this.
He bunts. The squeeze is on. He lays it down. They'll get a run. Perfect. The out at first, and it's 3-1.
All a batter has to do is make sure he gets it anywhere in fair territory. 3-1 Braves.
You know, the amazing thing to me, Tim, is you watch the runner. I mean, he's coming all the way, as Taveras does not ever look at the runner.
Well, Justice didn't break too soon. That's the one thing you want to do if you're the runner on at third base. If you break too soon, then they can pitch out. But by not breaking too soon, Taveras threw the strike, and Belliard with a squeeze.
Maddux broken bat bouncer back to Taveras, and the inning is over. But in the inning, the Braves get 2 runs, no hits. Leave 2 to the 8th. 3-1 Atlanta.
There's this college team I practice with to stay in shape. Each one is out to prove that they can hit the Rhine Express. I'm out to prove they can't. After a day of fastballs, it's Advil for me. Nothing has shown me that it works better or lasts longer than Advil.
For sore muscles, more doctors recommend Advil than any other pain reliever.
I love that sound.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
With all its power, with all that it is capable of, with all its refinements and its reputation, imagine the places it can take you. The Toyota 4Runner, where civilization is headed.
This is about how you go to sleep one day, running your business the same way you always have, and wake up the next morning with things like email, voicemail, PCs, pages, a new communications network for free. It's not a fairy tale, a myth, or a parable. This is about how things can really happen. This is about opening your eyes instead of closing them, and making a call instead of a wish. Network MCI, that's how.
2 new Beatles songs, the most anticipated event in 30 years, an event no one thought would ever happen. The Beatles Anthology, November 19th.
Indians find themselves trailing now as they come up in the 8th, 3-1. The 3rd run, the result of this squeeze.
See, as you'll notice, David Justice breaks when Taveras has his arm motion going toward home. The ball is about to be released. That's when Justice breaks. He doesn't have a good jump. You don't need a good jump on a squeeze, but you must make sure the pitcher pitches. David did, and Atlanta gets another run.
Mike Devereaux stays in the game. He drew the walk. Now in left field with Klesko out. And they hit for O'Brien, and Javi Lopez comes in back of the plate to catch. Hooley and Taveras closing out the inning. Both runs were charged to Hershiser. And Jim Thome leads off in the 8th inning. Thome, Ramirez, and Alomar. 1 hit for Cleveland tonight off Thome's bat. Opposite field single in the 5th. Ball 1. I mean, the adage is as old as dirt. Good pitching stops good hitting. We talked about the Indians hit .291 collectively, highest batting average for a team in 45 years. And then there's tonight.
Well, it stopped Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati were one of the greatest offense. They hit 116 off the Braves in a 4-game sweep.
2-1.
See, he has put the Indians in a position where they have to beat him. No walks. And you saw what happened when Hershiser got wild.
Just off the plate.
Now you're in more of a position to challenge right here. This is a dangerous situation for Maddux. A 2-run lead, bases loaded, throwing to a guy who has tremendous power.
3-1 to Tomei is hit foul down the right field line.
That was a free swing, but don't look for the 3-2 pitch to be like the 3-1 pitch.
Ramirez next. 3-2 pitch will no doubt be on the black of the plate, meaning the rim,
the periphery.
And he's grounded to the right side. Off speed. Lemke takes care of Tomei. 1 away.
See, that's what Greg Maddux is all about. Gets behind 3-1, throws a fastball. Tomei pulls it fast and then throws him the dead fish. The changeup down and away. Routine ground ball.
Yeah, Greg thinking, I'll give you 1 shot, but you're not going to get 2. And Jim Tomei on the 3-2 pitch. Maddux with a changeup on the corner. Tomei a weak ground ball to second base.
Now Ramirez, who has struck out twice.
Tell you, nobody in baseball that I've seen in a long time can carve up a lineup like Greg Maddux.
Hit back to Maddux, and the Gold Glover throws him out. Do you know in the last 5 2/3 innings with the shattered bat here, Greg Maddux has only thrown 13 pitches that weren't strikes, 13 balls in 5 2/3 innings. That's unbelievable.
Well, you know, I think in talking to some of the Indians yesterday, Herbert Perry, will probably see him during this World Series. The young first baseman in his rookie year. He said, you know what, you hit a ground ball to the shortstop, he throws you out off of Maddux, you get to first base. He said, I should have done more with it. Do the same thing off Randy Johnson. He throws you out. You said, you know something, boy, I had a great at bat. So here's a guy who's so unassuming, and he doesn't throw that hard, but he a little bit on, a little bit off, a little bit inside, a little bit outside.
Alomar pops it foul back into seats.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only the fact that he's been throwing strikes, but where the strikes have been. Inside corner, outside corner, a little bit off. It's a clinic.
Well, you began the telecast, Tim, by illustrating where he throws his pitches and why he throws them and how he throws them. And this has just been a clinic tonight. This is Greg Maddux.
Really has.
This is vintage Maddux. 2-1. Opposite field single by Tomei. That's the 1 hit. The run was unearned in the first. I guess he's lost it. 3-1.
Well, he reacted. You could see his disgust. I don't know if it was the fact that he just didn't throw it exactly where he wanted or the fact he did go 3-1.
Sereno, this is a major slump for Maddux. 3-1. And that's chopped foul at the plate. 3-2.
Well, Manny helped him out there. That pitch was high out of the strike zone. Or I should say Sandy Alomar, beg your pardon. Sandy Alomar helping Maddux out. That ball's ball 4.
He's also lucky it didn't stay in fair territory.
Right, right.
Crowd rising at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium with 2 out of the bases empty. And the 3-2 for Maddux is chopped foul again. Bobby Cox with a great option. Maddux tonight, and with the economy of pitches, he could conceivably bring him back in game 4, which means he could pitch a 7th game if necessary. What an option. popped up. McGriff. Side gun in order. At the end of 7.5. Atlanta 3, Cleveland 1.
The most affordable Lexus now comes with a moonroof. 6-disc CD auto changer. Leather-trimmed seats. And chrome wheels worthy of a Lexus. And with a savings of up to $2,000, you'll laugh all the way to the bank. The ES 300 Luxury Value Package. Available while they last at your Lexus dealer.
Dad, wake up,
What?
Dad. Get up, Dad.
What is it, Jack?
It's Saturday. You said you would take me to McDonald's for breakfast Saturday.
Yeah,
and you
I
said I
know.
could have an Egg McMuffin and a big juice. You said you and Mom would have pancakes and sausage and coffee. And you said you wouldn't go to work today. You said.
I know, but it's 3:30 in the morning.
Oh,
We got plenty of time, okay?
okay. I'll be back in exactly 10 minutes.
We're into the future.
In conclusion, our balance sheet has never...
If we miss our plane, we've got problems.
One more thought. We must continue to control direct expenses.
We missed our plane.
I can tell you when the next one leaves.
Introducing Avis Flight Check, our exclusive up-to-the-minute flight information at car return. Another first from the employee owners of Avis.
Terminal B, Gate 2, you can just make it.
And I thought we had problems.
No, we have Avis.
Trying hard on and see how.
A fallen priest returns to his church. Can they forgive him for his sins? Could you? Next Oprah. Monday at 3 only on Channel 7.
In Atlanta, Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. The Braves leading game 1, 3-1. Going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Gorgeous night. Here is the MCI proof positive replay.
Well, in the 7th inning, what really prevented this game from being out of reach for the Indians was a break with the bases loaded, nobody out. Luis Polonia, pinch hitting for Charlie O'Brien, hits this ball to Omar Vizquel. He makes the play, but as you can see, Bruce Fleming, the second base umpire, said he was in the act of throwing, and Vizquel never had control of the ball. Now, the Braves did plate 2 runs, 1 on that play, but they could have really broken it open. But that is a rare misplay by Vizquel, and obviously no error given on the play because they did get 1 out.
Grissom, the batter. In the bottom of the 8th inning. Ball 1, 1-0. Two and 0. Grissom, Lemke, and Jones, and then when the Indians batted the 9th, Sorrento, Lofton, and Vizquel. Sorrento hitting in the 9 spot. Hit down to Omar, and Vizquel throws Grissom out. 1 up and 1 down, and that will bring up Lemke. Spectacular autumn night in Atlanta. There was some rain here yesterday. That shot provided by the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. Beautiful day, clear blue skies in Atlanta. And right now, maybe in the upper 50s, very comfortable. Lemke fouls it back. You know, the city of Atlanta still looking for its first professional sports championship. The Braves have never won the World Series. The Falcons have never been to a Super Bowl. The Hawks have never been to the NBA Finals, much less won one. And their hockey team left town a few years ago. The Calgary, formerly Atlanta Flames, did win a Stanley Cup, but after they left town. So the Braves trying to bring the first title to the South as Lemke takes low. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, if the Indians win the World Series and the Browns, who are playing fairly well, win the Super Bowl, everybody dies happy. It's as simple as that. That's it. Chop foul at the plate.
It's all over, huh?
It's all over. That's it. Alan Embry is the lefty and Eric Plump is the righty.
Oh, we've been talking about 1954. David Winfield not on the roster for this series. Cleveland losing 4 in a row to the New York Giants. But they have won 2 world championships back in 1920 and 1948.
Funny thing about that 54 World Series when they were swept by the Giants in 4. I mean, that's the one play above all others that probably is etched in baseball fans' minds. Willie Mays back to the plate, hauling in the drive off the bat of Vic Wertz. The irony was Wertz was one of the few Indians who had a tremendous World Series.
Yeah, he did.
Didn't he get 4 hits in that game?
Either that game or the one after that, I believe. Cleveland winning 111 regular season games that year.
Ball 3.
And that was during the 154 game schedule.
Wertz in that series hit .500. He was 8 for 16. And that's ball 4. So Lemke walks. Our computers hard at work. Kurt Gowdy and Bill Webb in the truck. No sooner said than done. Here it is. You've seen it a million times. The catch is still every bit as great. Back goes Mays. And only in the Polo Grounds could that catch have been made.
Any place else, it's a home run.
I was reading a comment from Bob Feller. He said, you know, we knew he had it all the way.
Yeah, I saw that same quote.
Hargrove now to the mound, and he'll bring in the lefty. He'll bring in Alan Embry here with 1 out and 1 on in the bottom of the 8th inning. Back after this from our ABC stations.
Sunday. No need to crowd. There are plenty of new videos for everyone. So wash up, grab a bite, but don't miss a full hour of America's funniest home videos. Then, Lois and Clark investigate a love clinic.
Don't think it's a good idea.
Not at this time, Chief.
Disguised as a happy couple.
Please get off of me.
But will the new age guru save their relationship?
You got a tiger by the tail there, boy.
Tell me about it.
It's an all-new Lois and Clark after a full hour of America's funniest home videos. Sunday, here on ABC.
Rollin' with a Ram Tough Magnum motor. Get a new Dodge Ram or a new Dakota.
California's truck stop.
A new Dodge.
California's truck stop.
You can out-drive, out-hustle, out-tough, out-muscle, out-tow, out-run, out-work, and out-fun. Show them what you got.
Introducing California's Truck Stop. Now with a special allocation of the hottest trucks on the road today. Dodge Ram and Dodge Ram Club Cab. Plus get air at no extra charge.
California's truck stop.
The new Dodge.
Air. It fills every breath of every creature. That's why people have dedicated more than 20 years developing some of the world's most environmentally responsible gasolines, helping lead the way to cleaner air for today and tomorrow. Do people clearly protect one thing we all share? People do.
Hello, your Pacific Bell spokesperson here with the story of one California entrepreneur.
I make trousers. They're custom made with a zipper in the back for the tail.
Fortunately, Charles has a Centrix phone system from Pacific Bell. So as his business grows, or otherwise, he can quickly add or delete phone lines.
Someday, every dog in America will wear my trousers.
The Pacific Bell Network. How will you use it?
Phantom of the Mall, tonight at 9 on 7.
Atlanta leading 3-1 with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Alan Embry, a left-hander who throws very hard, comes in relief of Julian Tavares to face the switch-hitting Chipper Jones, who is 0 for 3 tonight. And lifts one foul off to the right and back out of play.
Yeah, does he ever throw very hard? 95, 96 miles per hour just a couple of years ago. That Tommy John surgery, which is a ligament transplant, right wrist to left elbow. struggled a little bit in September, but he's got a little bit of a curveball he's been working on, but he can get it up there.
In there.
You think of all the torn rotator cuffs before the Tommy John operation and how many pitchers' careers were cut short. Of course, now it is remarkable what medical science can do.
And it's funny that Tommy John, who had a long and very distinguished career, will be remembered for decades.
Yeah.
For surgery.
Well, Tommy won, I know, somewhere in the mid, like 286 wins.
Right. 26 years.
Paul Ossenmacher. Jones swings late and doesn't get it. And is out number 2. So 2 down here in the 8th inning, and that will bring up Fred McGriff. McGriff homered in the 2nd to tie the game, then bounced out and walked. McGriff is a free agent at the end of the World Series. And the Braves will try to sign him. I think Freddie wants to stay here, but he's going to command a lot of money somewhere. Half swing, strike.
Well, he is a perfect guy to plug right into the middle of your lineup. I mean, even-tempered. Obviously a great home run hitter. 27 this year. The last 7 years before that, 30 or more. Soft hands at first base. Terrific guy to have on a ball club.
He's perhaps more ideal for the Atlanta Braves than he would be for a number of other National League clubs, or American League clubs for that matter, because the Braves really don't have another type player like Fred McGriff. One may develop in Ryan Klesko. He would be the heir apparent to the first base job if McGriff leaves, or if he signs with another team. But right now, the Braves don't have another player to really replace Fred.
If baseball had a salary cap, their chances of signing McGriff would be next to 0. Funny thing, though, without the salary cap, I mean, I don't want to spend Ted Turner's money, but maybe we will, since he has a lot of Time Warner's money right now, or will.
I was going to say,
they've got a lot of money.
He was throwing a lot around nowadays.
Jane very happy that I'm spending a few of Ted's bucks right now. It's fouled away.
But if you're a realist, I mean, when Freddie McGriff came over in '93, they went 51-17, and he made such a difference. Team average almost 5.5 runs a game. And he's a big reason. I mean, he's the guy you want to hit in front of, because you know you're going to get some good pitches to hit.
And Chipper Jones has said that all year, that's why he gets a lot of fastballs to hit, because of that man.
And down he goes, blows him away with a fastball. So we go to the 9th. It remains 3-1 Braves.
It's been said that everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. For some, that's just their daily commute. The Lexus Coupe.
Isn't fire a fabulous invention? I mean, it's the only way to cook a burger.
Fire's not an invention, it's a discovery.
Well, somebody had to invent the match.
I guess.
And that's how I get fire. What are you supposed to do? Stand out there with a plate of burgers and wait for lightning to strike?
It's a way to go.
The Whopper. It always tastes great because it's always flame broiled, with fries and a drink for just $2.99 every day at Burger King.
And without fire, there'd be no little stripes on the burger.
Stripes are good.
Yeah, but not horizontal.
Oof. Not slimming. Icky. No.
Major League Baseball Home Video presents the Ultimate Series Souvenir, the official 1995 World Series video. All the drama of the 1995 World Series, plus exclusive interviews, are showcased in this remarkable video. To order the 95 World Series video for $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping, use your credit card and call 1-800-787-6227. 1-800-787-6227.
Tuesday, Jill's meddling puts a marriage on the rocks.
Why is Mom starting fights in other people's families?
Starting fights here has just become too easy for her.
On Home Improvement. Then, Christine and Hayden meet the mother of their child.
Why don't we all just go into the family room, make ourselves pregnant?
It's an all-new coat after Home Improvement. Tuesday on ABC.
This Tuesday,
Something bad is happening.
someone in the 15th precinct
Answer up loud and clear! We start shooting!
is going down.
I'm calling for another unit.
In one decisive moment,
My partner's been shot.
the shocking season premiere of NYPD Blue. Viewer discretion advised.
So we go to the 9th inning in game 1 with Atlanta leading it 3-1, and Maddux to try to close it out. He's given up 1 hit tonight. Don Larson, of course, the perfect game, and 4 pitchers have allowed just 1 hit in a complete game in the World Series. And you saw them there. The most interesting case, of course, was Bevins giving up the 1 hit to Lavagetto in 1947. Bill Bevins, the 1 hit at the end of the game to win the game. Broken bat, bouncer down to second, and Lemke throws out Sorrento. Game 1 of the World Series is being brought to you by the makers of Advil. McDonald's have had your break today, and Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic team. Make it a Bud Light.
And yet another ground ball out for Greg Maddux. Only 2 outs have been made in the outfield in this game. The major league record in World Series play for fewest fly ball outs to the outfield, 3. The 1956 World Series when Johnny Cuck started against Don Newcomb.
And both outs in the 4th inning. Vizquel a fly ball to center, Bell a fly ball to right. 1 out, bases empty. He has Maddux 2 men over the minimum. The only base runners tonight for Cleveland. Lofton lit off the game with a routine grounder which Belliard couldn't handle, and Tomei an opposite field single in the 5th.
Yeah, he's made it look so easy, but it always hasn't been that easy. 1987, he went 6-14 with an ERA of 5.61, almost 5 runs higher.
And that's hit into left field for a base hit. So Lofton with a single. Both hits tonight off the bats of left-handed batters, singles to left field. And that will bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Omar Vizquel.
Kind of reminds you of the Seattle series, and this is what Lofton did so well. Cut the swing down, very compact, go the other way. Because even if he doesn't hit that line drive, a lot of ground balls to the left side with his speed end up to be base hits.
I tell you, Kenny Lofton in this postseason has been so impressive. Those 4 base hits he got off Randy Johnson. You talk about a remarkable job of hitting against a terrifying left-hander.
The lefty is Steve Avery, who could start game 4. The righty is the main man, the closer, Mark Wohlers. Vizquel 0 for 3. Taking all the way, looks at a strike, 0-1.
And with a 3-1 lead with Lofton, who can run at first, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
I think McGriff's going to play behind him.
He should.
I think so too. I agree with you.
I mean, that run is meaningless. So what you'll do right now, if you're Greg Maddux and Bobby Cox and the Atlanta Braves, you will trade 2 outs for a run.
Well, you know, the only reason that you'd hold him on here is a possible bunt by Vizquel.
He goes, and it's grounded to the right side, and Lemke plugs up the hole, throws him out, and Lofton's going to go to third, and he's going to get away with it. It's a terrible strategic move, but he gets away with it.
Terrible.
That would have been about the most embarrassing ending to a World Series game ever had Lofton been thrown out at third. Because he means nothing at that point, but he gets away with it.
Absolutely.
And it's 3-2.
He's as good on second as he is in the dugout. This is a terrible base running play by a remarkable, terrific base runner. Going to third, it's a 3-1 ball game. Fred McGriff's throw is a little low, Had that ball been on the mark, he's out and very, very embarrassed.
And he might have done that because of what he did the other night, which was not a good strategic move in Seattle, but it turned out to be perfect because it broke the spirit of the Mariners.
Right.
But had he been thrown out in that game, there would have been the bases empty and 1 out and 2-0 instead of 3-0 and a done deal. So it's 3-2. Baerga at the plate. McGriff charged with a throwing error. 2 out and the bases empty. And it's popped in the air down the left field line, giving chases Devereaux, but can't get there. Strike 1.
Well, normally Devereaux may have a shot at that because he'd be playing more shallow. But with 2 out and nobody on, a 1-run game in the 9th inning, the outfielders are encouraged by Bobby Cox to play deeper than you normally would to ward off the extra base hit.
They also got encouraged by me and anybody on the mound that knows what they're talking about. That's if they're playing too shallow, you turn around and go, whoa, boys, get back there. Baerga with 15 home runs during the regular season, and as Charlie Manuel, the hitting instructor, will tell you, if he's selective and gets good pitches to hit, he's a home run threat. Haven't been a whole lot of good pitches hit tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, this is one delicious baseball game.
And Maddux is a strike away.
Led the National League in innings pitched and only threw 8 home runs. That's the best ratio.
Still 0-2.
Carlos Baerga appears to be hurt. It looks like a groin area or something. These swings that he's been taking have been very funky. You know, he's made a couple of plays tonight where he's ranged wide to his left, maybe a slight pull, and it looks like a groin area type of pull.
Anything for a rally.
Even the way he took the ball. Could have been from a possible swing before. Didn't appear that that was one, but did appear lame after that swing.
1-2, pop, foul, giving chases Jones, and he makes the catch to give the Braves the win. For victory. Jones was so excited he knew he had to play, he almost overran it.
Well, the exuberance of a rookie. He doesn't play like it. He plays like a veteran. Former shortstop, and he corrals it. And as you're right, Al, almost did overrun it.
That's why they call him Chipper.
Orel Hershiser suffers his first ever postseason loss, and all it took was Greg Maddux. Ted Turner watches his team make its magic number 3. 3 for a world title. Yep. Even Jimmy Carter would vote for him tonight. So the Atlanta Braves behind Maddux win it by a score of 3-2. Player of the game, the Chevy player of the game, I believe the choice is unanimous. Mr. Greg Maddux, and in conjunction with this program, Chevrolet will contribute a total of $50,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America in the names of all players of the game for the 1995 Major League Baseball season. Bob, and Joe will have games 2 and 3 for you. We'll be back in Cleveland for game 4 on a Wednesday night. And let's check in right now with Leslie Visser.
Al, the Mariners having an astonishing postseason. Congratulations to you, Fred McGriff. Talk about tonight and the home run.
Basically, I was trying to be aggressive, first at bat and so forth. Hershiser got a fastball up a little bit, and I was able to get out in front and hit it pretty good. Maddux did a great job. He kept us in the ball game, and he's been doing that all year, just giving us a chance to win.
Yeah, what is so special about Greg Maddux? He said he had some ideas against these hitters. Most of his outs were on the ground.
Great control. Both pitchers tonight had great control. They threw a lot of strikes. I don't know what was the time in this game, but, I mean, it was boom, boom strikes. And that's Maddux's game. He doesn't have the fastest fastball in the league and so forth, but he knows how to pitch control.
And so obviously for you, the week off didn't hurt, or for your offense?
No, I needed it. I got a few aching bones here and there, and it was a good chance for me to rest up a little bit.
Great. Well done. On to tomorrow. Back to you, Al.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. So it's Maddux and company in Atlanta tonight. The Braves win it by a score of 3-2 to take the first game of the 1995 World Series. Game 2 tomorrow. Glavine for the Braves and Martinez for the Indians. So that's the story from Atlanta. This is Al Michaels for Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver, and Leslie Visser saying good night from Georgia.
This week on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, it's a key battle between AFC East rivals. Quarterback Jim Kelly and the high-flying Buffalo Bills invade New England for a division showdown with Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots. Live at 9 Eastern on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. You're watching ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.